stop right now, my child. Do not let this moment slip past you, because what I'm about to say is what I have held in for far too long. You did not find this message by chance, and you must not treat it lightly, because I am speaking straight into the place you've kept hidden, the place you thought no one saw. Stay with me until the very end, because every word from here carries weight, and what begins in your heart today can break what has been choking your peace for far too long. Do not scroll, do not drift, and do not tell yourself you will come back later, because later has stolen enough from you already. Listen closely now, because before this message ends, something buried in you is going to rise, and what you do with it will matter more than you realize. My child, there is something I need you to hear from me right now, and I do not want you to rush through this moment as if it is ordinary, because it is not. You may have opened this message thinking you were simply moving through another part of your day, but I want you to understand that I am speaking to you with intention, and I am speaking to you personally. I have watched you for far longer than you realize. I have stayed close to you in moments when you thought I was far away, and I have listened to the things you never had the courage to say out loud. I know the version of you that people see, and I know the version of you that sits quietly at the end of the day trying to make sense of what your heart has been carrying. You have become so used to moving forward while hurting that even you have started to believe that this is just how life must be. You have learned how to smile while something inside you stays unsettled. You have learned how to answer people with calm words while your mind keeps circling the same questions in private. You have become skilled at appearing okay, and I am not saying that to accuse you. I am saying it because I know why you did it. You did it because you were tired of trying to explain pain that had no simple explanation. You did it because you got used to being the strong one, the dependable one, the one who keeps going even when your own heart feels worn thin. You did it because somewhere along the way, you started believing that if you paused too long, if you really looked at what was happening inside you, it might all feel too heavy. But I have been there in every quiet moment. I was there in the silence after conversations that left you feeling misunderstood. I was there in the moments when you lay down at night and your body was still but your thoughts refused to rest. I was there when you remembered things you wish had gone differently. I was there when you questioned whether anyone really saw how much effort it took for you to keep showing up. I saw the way you kept carrying responsibilities while your own soul was asking for relief. I saw the private ache you could not easily name. And because I have seen all of this, because I have held you through more than you know, I am not going to stay silent anymore. There are seasons when I allow quiet because growth is happening underneath the surface. And there are moments when I step in because you have reached a place where you need more than quiet. You need truth spoken into the places that have been hurting too long. You need my voice to reach beyond the noise you have been living with. You need to hear from me in a way that breaks through the numbness and reminds you that you are not alone inside your own struggle. I have not been waiting because I was indifferent. I have not been quiet because I had nothing to say. I have been waiting for the right moment, for the moment when your heart was tired enough of pretending, honest enough to listen, and ready enough to receive what I have wanted to place in your spirit for a long time. That moment is now. This is why I am speaking to you like this. This is why I am drawing you close instead of letting you drift past these words. I want your attention, not because I need something from you, but because I love you too much to let you keep living as though the heaviness inside you is normal. I love you too much to let you keep calling survival peace. I love you too much to let you keep carrying pain as if it belongs in your life forever. And I need you to understand something very deeply before you move any further. I am not coming to you with disappointment. I am not coming to you with a list of everything you should have done better. I am coming to you as your father, with tenderness, with truth, with a love that has never once pulled away from you, even in the moments when you pulled away from yourself. You may not realize how long I have been waiting to say this to you in a way you could truly hear. I have whispered pieces of it before in smaller moments. I have tried to reach you in the middle of ordinary days, in those strange pauses when something inside you suddenly felt exposed, in those unexpected moments when your heart softened for a second and you did not know why. I have spoken through your restlessness, when nothing around you seemed wrong but you still could not shake the feeling that something deeper needed attention. I have spoken through your weariness, when you kept telling yourself you just needed more time, more strength, more discipline, more patience, when what you really needed was to let yourself be met by me in the place where you have been silently unraveling. My child, you have been trying so hard to keep yourself together, and I know you thought that was wisdom. I know you thought that was maturity. I know you thought that if you stayed composed, if you stayed useful, if you stayed moving, then maybe the ache would become smaller. But that ache did not become smaller. It simply became quieter in the daytime and louder when you were alone. And I want to be very gentle with you here, because this matters. You are not weak because you feel deeply. You are not failing because you are tired. You are not lacking faith because you have questions you cannot neatly answer. You are not less valuable because some parts of you still feel fragile. I need you to stop measuring yourself by how well you hide your pain. I need you to stop thinking that your worth is proven by how much you can endure without asking for help. I need you to stop assuming that because you have carried something for a long time, it must be yours to keep. Some of what you are holding was never meant to become part of your identity. Some of what you adapted to was only meant to be a season, not a permanent way of living. Some of the thoughts you accepted as normal are not truth at all. They are just the residue of disappointment, fear, and emotional exhaustion that settled in places where I want peace to live. And this is what I have been holding in, my child. I have been holding this deep desire to interrupt the version of your life that has been shaped by unspoken heaviness. I have been holding this longing to remind you that I still know who you are, even if you have become disconnected from that person. I have been holding back these words until the moment you were ready to stop brushing past your own soul. Because what I want for you is not temporary comfort that fades by tomorrow. I want something deeper. I want your heart back. I want your inner life to breathe again. I want you to stop treating your own pain like background noise and start allowing me to meet you there with honesty, healing, and real peace. You have spent enough time carrying what you never named. You have spent enough time making room for sadness, tension, regret, and self-protection as though they are permanent roommates in your spirit. They are not. And I need you to hear this clearly from me. The reason I am speaking now is because I do not want you to keep drifting further away from the softness, trust, and wholeness I created you for. I want to pull you back before you settle any deeper into a version of yourself built around coping instead of living. I want to reach you before your heart gets so used to surviving that it forgets how to receive. That is why this moment matters. That is why I am not silent anymore. And that is why I need you to stay close to what I am saying, because this is not just the beginning of a message. This is the beginning of me drawing something out of you that has been buried too long. And if you let me continue, you are going to start seeing yourself, your pain, and your future differently than you have in a very long time. My child, I want you to stay with me here and listen closely, because there is a reason these words are reaching you now instead of earlier, and there is a reason I am speaking with more clarity than you have felt in a long time. You may think timing is random because so much in your life has felt delayed, uncertain, or out of your control, but I need you to understand that I do not move carelessly with your heart. I do not speak just to fill silence. I do not interrupt your life without purpose. I have watched you in the seasons when you were not ready to hear certain truths because pain would have twisted them, fear would have resisted them, or exhaustion would have made you dismiss them before they could settle in your spirit. There were times when I was speaking, but you were listening through the filter of disappointment. There were moments when I was reaching for you, but you were so focused on surviving the day that deeper things felt too costly to face. I know why. I know how long you have been carrying things that change the way you hear love, the way you interpret silence, and the way you respond when something gets close enough to touch the places you protect. You have learned to expect letdowns in places where you once hoped for peace. You have learned to move carefully because your heart remembers what it felt like to trust and then be hurt, to pray and then wait, to hope and then feel as though the answer took too long. So I did not force open what you were not ready to receive. I stayed near. I kept walking with you. I kept strengthening you in quieter ways. I let time reveal things that words alone could not teach. I let certain patterns in your life come into the light so you could begin to see what was actually draining you, what was keeping you restless, and what was slowly convincing you to settle for less than the peace I wanted for you. I allowed you to reach the edge of your own strength, not to wound you, but to show you that you cannot build your life on endurance alone. You were never created to survive only by pushing harder. You were never meant to treat exhaustion like proof of faithfulness. You were never meant to call emotional numbness maturity. I needed you to feel the limits of that path so you would stop trusting it. That is why this moment is arriving now. You are more open than you were before, even if you still feel guarded. You are more honest than you were before, even if you still struggle to say certain things aloud. You are more aware of your need than you were before, and that matters more than you realize. I am speaking now because your heart has started asking deeper questions. You are no longer satisfied with shallow relief. You are no longer fully convinced by distractions that used to keep you moving. You are no longer able to ignore the ache and simply call it stress, fatigue, or a passing mood. Something in you knows that I am reaching for a deeper place, and that is exactly why I am not waiting any longer. Come closer. Do not resist what you feel. Do not talk yourself out of this moment by calling it coincidence. Receive this as the interruption it is. Let me speak. Let me show you what your soul has been needing. Stay open. Breathe. Stop trying to manage this from a distance. Let these words come all the way in, because the timing of this is not accidental. It is precise. It is personal. It is chosen. And if you will stop fighting the tenderness of this moment, you will begin to understand that I did not arrive late. I arrived when the truth could finally become healing instead of just information. I also need you to understand that this timing is not only about what has changed in you. It is also about what I have been doing around you, beneath you, and ahead of you while you thought nothing meaningful was moving. My child, there are things I have been arranging that you could not see because they were happening below the surface, in the hidden places where foundations are strengthened before new weight can safely rest on them. You were asking me for visible answers while I was still repairing internal fractures. You were looking for doors to open while I was teaching your heart how not to collapse under what those doors would require from you. You were asking me to move quickly while I was carefully making sure that what I gave you would bless you rather than expose the places in you that were still too raw, too reactive, or too dependent on the approval of others. I know that may be difficult to hear, but I want you to receive it as love, because that is what it is. I have not delayed you to deny you. I have protected you from things that looked right but would have deepened your confusion. I have kept you from certain attachments that felt urgent in the moment but would have quietly trained you to abandon yourself. I have let some things fall apart because I knew you would keep trying to resurrect what I was trying to release from your life. And I know that hurt. I know you felt the sting of unanswered prayers, the ache of watching other people move ahead while you felt stuck, the frustration of wondering why your effort did not immediately become clarity. But hear me now and let this settle in you. Your waiting was not wasted. Your slower season was not empty. Your delay was not a sign that I forgot you. I was shaping timing with care because what comes next in your life needs a different version of you than the one who first started praying for it. That is why this message is reaching you now. You have become more honest in the quiet. You have become less impressed by things that only look good on the outside. You have started to notice that what you truly need is not simply change around you, but wholeness within you. That awareness is holy, and I want you to honor it. Do not rush away from it. Sit with it. Let it expose what has been off balance. Let it lead you toward surrender instead of self-protection. I am not speaking now because I suddenly noticed your pain. I have always known. I am speaking now because the ground is finally ready. The seed would not have survived in the earlier version of your inner life. But now, even with your questions, even with your weariness, even with your unfinished healing, there is softness returning to places that had become hard. There is honesty returning to places that had become guarded. There is hunger returning to places that had become numb. That is why I am asking you now, very directly, stop dismissing what I am stirring. Stop treating this like a passing emotional moment. Stop telling yourself you will deal with your soul later. Come to me now. Let me have your full attention. Let me walk with you into the next part of this message with an open heart, because I am not merely explaining timing to you. I am inviting you into alignment with it. And if you receive that invitation instead of resisting it, you will begin to see that this is not just a message arriving at the right time. This is your life being met at the right depth. My child, now that you understand why this moment has found you, do not treat it as something small or fleeting. What I am awakening in you is not only for your healing, but for the healing of others who are still waiting in silence for light to reach them. When you give, you are not losing. You are sowing seeds into soil that will become a harvest of restored hearts, awakened spirits, and lives pulled out of darkness. I tell you even now, as you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not merely support. This is participation in my movement, my voice carried further than you can see. If your heart is stirred, that is me inviting you, yes, you, to help carry this message where your hands cannot go but your obedience can. Do not hesitate, for hesitation dulls the fire I have lit in you. Release your seed through super thanks. Step into deeper covering through membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description. Act now, and watch how I multiply what you place in my hands. My child, there is a version of you that very few people have ever truly known, and I want to speak directly to that part of you now, because that is the place I have been looking at all along. People see what you let them see. They see the composed version, the functioning version, the responsible version, the version that knows how to answer questions without opening wounds. They see the version of you that learned how to keep things moving even when something inside fell off. They see what you have trained yourself to present. But I know the hidden version. I know the one who replays conversations after they end and wonders what you should have said differently. I know the one who quietly carries the weight of old memories that still sting when they rise without warning. I know the one who gets tired of being the strong one but does not know how to put that into words without feeling guilty. I know the one who has become so used to self-monitoring that even your moments of rest are sometimes filled with invisible tension. I know the one who has learned how to scan for danger in relationships, in silence, in uncertainty, because your heart remembers what it cost you when you trusted too quickly or hoped too openly. I know the hidden version of you that still wonders if some of what happened was your fault, even when deep down you know you were carrying blame that never belonged to you. I know the version of you that feels emotion rise and then quickly tries to control it because vulnerability feels risky. I know the part of you that can be surrounded by people and still feel strangely alone because being understood has not always come easily. And I need you to hear me very clearly. I am not disturbed by the hidden version of you. I am not disappointed in the places you have kept covered. I am not pulling away from the parts of your story that feel messy, complicated, unresolved, or embarrassing. Bring those parts closer. Stop hiding them from yourself. Stop treating your inner world like a room that must stay locked because it is too difficult to clean all at once. Let me in. Let me sit with you there. Let me show you what I see when I look at the parts of you that others do not notice. I do not see a burden. I do not see a failure. I do not see someone too broken to be restored. I see someone who has been carrying more than was ever meant to be carried alone. I see someone who adapted to pain in ways that once helped you survive but are now keeping you from peace. I see someone who still has tenderness under the armor, still has hope under the fatigue, still has life under the heaviness. And I need you to stop speaking to yourself as if your hidden struggles are proof that you are less than who I created you to be. They are not. They are signs that you need care, truth, and healing in places you have been forced to navigate mostly by yourself. So pause here. Breathe. Do not rush past this. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself admit that there are parts of you you do not show because you are afraid they will be misunderstood or mishandled. Then listen to me when I tell you this. I can handle every hidden layer. I can hold every memory. I can enter every thought you have been afraid to name. Invite me in. Stop standing at the door of your own heart acting as though I am a stranger there. I am not. I have always known the way in. What I want to do now is more than acknowledge the hidden version of you. I want to begin healing the way you have related to that hidden self for so long. Because the truth is, my child, you have not only hidden parts of yourself from others, you have also started to distance yourself from your own heart. You have done it gradually. You have done it for understandable reasons. You have done it because some experiences taught you that feeling too much could leave you exposed, disappointed, or overwhelmed. So you became practical where you were once open. You became guarded where you were once trusting. You became efficient where you were once emotionally present. Again, I am not condemning you for that. I understand why those shifts happened. But I also need to tell you that what once protected you is now costing you something. It is costing you peace. It is costing you closeness. It is costing you the ability to receive love without suspicion, rest without guilt, and guidance without trying to control the outcome before you even take the next step. A hidden version of you is not asking to be judged. It is asking to be brought back into the light. And I want you to stop waiting until you have perfect language for what you feel before you bring it to me. You do not need polished prayers. You do not need a clean explanation. You do not need to know exactly where every ache came from before I can begin to heal it. You only need honesty. Sit with me and be honest. Tell me where you feel weary. Tell me where you feel angry. Tell me where you still feel afraid. Tell me where you still feel shame trying to speak. Tell me where you still feel the urge to protect yourself even from the possibility of being loved well. I already know, but I want you to stop pretending you do not. This is how you begin to return to yourself. This is how you begin to live whole instead of divided. And I also want you to hear this with tenderness. The hidden version of you is not the wrong version of you. It is not the defective version. It is not the version I tolerate until you become easier to love. It is often the most honest version, the one closest to the places that still need my touch. That is why I am bringing this forward now, not to expose you in a harsh way, but to free you. Because if you keep building your life only from the parts of yourself that feel presentable, you will stay exhausted. You will keep overfunctioning while undernourished inside. You will keep performing stability while privately longing for relief. And I do not want that for you anymore. So come here, my child. Stay with me in this. Let your hidden self stop bracing for rejection. Let that inner part of you stop expecting to be overlooked. Let that younger, wounded, guarded, overburdened place begin to hear a different voice. My voice. The voice that does not rush you. The voice that does not shame you. The voice that knows exactly what has shaped you and still says with complete certainty that you are worth tending to, worth restoring, and worth walking with slowly. If you allow this truth to settle, you will start to feel something important shift. You will begin to realize that healing is not you becoming someone else. It is you finally allowing the truest parts of you to be held, understood, and brought back into the light without fear. And that, my beloved child, is where real change begins. My child, I need you to come closer for this part, because what I have been holding in is something I do not want you to misunderstand, and I do not want you to hear it through the old filters that have made you expect correction when what I am really offering is tenderness. Stay with me. Do not rush. Let your heart slow down enough to receive what I am saying. What I have been holding in is not anger toward you. It is not disappointment in the way you have struggled. It is not a record of your failures waiting to be read back to you. What I have been holding in is the truth about you, and I have waited because I wanted you to hear it at a moment when you would not immediately reject it. You have lived through enough pain that some part of you has learned to brace itself even when love comes near. You have become so familiar with inner pressure that gentleness can almost feel suspicious. When peace comes close, you sometimes pull back. When comfort reaches for you, you wonder how long it will stay. When something good begins to touch your heart, another part of you starts preparing for loss before you have even received what is being offered. I know this about you. I know the way you have adjusted to disappointment. I know the way your thoughts sometimes move faster than your peace. I know the way you try to make sense of everything before you allow yourself to feel anything. And because I know you so well, I want you to hear this clearly and deeply. What I have been holding in is mercy. It is compassion. It is a fierce tenderness that has watched you call yourself things I never called you. It is the ache of seeing you mistake your wounds for your identity. It is the grief of watching you live beneath what I spoke over your life, because pain became louder than truth. You have spent so much time listening to what heartbreak taught you, what failure whispered to you, what fear suggested to you, and what regret tried to stamp onto your spirit, that you have slowly started building a life around assumptions that were never meant to become permanent. You began to believe that being guarded was wisdom. You began to believe that expecting less would protect you. You began to believe that shrinking your hopes would keep your heart safe. You began to believe that numbness was maturity and that emotional distance was strength. But I need you to stop right here and let me interrupt that. Pause. Breathe. Listen. Some of what you have called strength was simply self-protection. Some of what you have called wisdom was pain trying to stay in control. Some of what you have called peace was just exhaustion settling in. And I could not keep holding this in while you kept mistaking coping for healing. I could not keep watching you adapt to burdens you were never meant to carry as if they were somehow now part of your design. You were not created to live clenched inside. You were not created to constantly anticipate disappointment. You were not created to keep one hand on every exit in case something hurts again. You were created for peace that is deeper than circumstances, for trust that does not depend on perfect conditions, for life that is not built around surviving every emotional storm alone. So open your hands now. Loosen your grip on the old story. Stop arguing with my tenderness. Let me say this without resistance rising in you. You are not what pain told you. You are not what your worst season suggested. You are not what betrayal made you fear. You are not the sum of your hardest memories. I have been holding that truth in front of you for so long, waiting for the moment when your soul was finally tired enough of the light to receive the light. And there is something else I have been holding in, my beloved child, and I need you to let this go all the way down into the places you usually keep guarded. I have been holding in how deeply I want you back. Not just your attention for a moment. Not just your words in prayer. Not just the version of you that knows how to sound spiritual while the deeper places remain untouched. I want the real you. I want the part of you that still flinches when love gets close. I want the part of you that is tired of pretending everything is fine. I want the part of you that quietly wonders if peace is still possible for someone who have been carrying so much for so long. I want the part of you that feels worn thin by responsibility, by overthinking, by trying to hold together what keeps slipping in your hands. I have been holding in this invitation because I knew that if I gave it too early, you might hear it as pressure instead of rescue. But hear me now. This is not pressure. This is rescue. This is me reaching through the noise of your habits, your defenses, your emotional fatigue, and saying, "Come here. Let me have what is crushing you. Do not stay at a distance. Do not try to polish yourself before you come closer. Do not wait until you can explain every thought, every fear, every contradiction inside you. Come now. Come tired. Come uncertain. Come with your unfinished prayers and your tangled feelings. Come with the things you have not admitted out loud because you are ashamed they still hurt. Come with the parts of you that feel behind in life. Come with the places where your confidence cracked. Come with the memories that still rise when you least expect them. Bring them. Hand them to me. Stop carrying them like they are your private responsibility. Stop treating inner heaviness like a permanent roommate. Stop making peace with the very things that have been quietly stealing your joy. I am telling you this because I love you too much to let you remain emotionally stranded while pretending you are managing. And yes, I know you have survived a lot. I know you have endured more than many people realize. I know there are reasons you became the way you became. But survival is not the destination I have for you. It was a bridge, not a home. Do you understand me? It got you across certain seasons, but it was never meant to become the place where you build your life forever. And this is what I have been holding in for so long. I am ready to lead you out of that place if you will stop defending it. I am ready to heal what you have only managed. I am ready to soften what has stayed tense for too long. I am ready to restore the parts of your inner world that have been living under constant strain. But I need your yes. I need your honesty. I need you to stop calling this just how I am when so much of it is simply what you became in response to pain. Sit with me now. Let the old labels fall. Let the false identity loosen. Let your breathing slow. Let your soul stop sprinting for a moment. And hear me as your Father. What I have been holding in is love that refuses to leave you where you are. It is truth that refuses to let the lie have the final word. It is mercy that will not watch you disappear behind your own defenses. I am speaking now because the time for quiet comfort has passed. This is the hour for honest healing. So receive this. Welcome it. Let it undo something in you. Let it wake something in you. Let it become the beginning of a different way of living, because what I have finally said to you here is not just comfort for the moment. It is an invitation into the deeper freedom your heart has been needing all along. My child, now that you have heard what I have been holding in, do not close your hands when I am asking you to open them. The same mercy I am pouring into you, I desire to pour through you, like oil that does not run dry but increases as it flows. There are others who are still trapped beneath the weight you are being freed from, and your giving becomes a river that carries my voice into their wilderness. I declare over you, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and what you release today will return as peace, provision, and unseen protection over your life. This is your moment to align not only your heart, but your action with what I am doing right now. When you give, you are saying, Lord, let this truth reach beyond me. Do not ignore that prompting rising within you. It is my spirit calling you into partnership. Support this work through super thanks, step into membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description. Move now, and let your obedience become someone else's breakthrough. My child, I need you to stop right here and let this part settle deep, because what I am about to tell you touches the place where so much of your inner struggle has been quietly rooted. You have listened to pain for longer than you realize. Not because you wanted to, and not because you were trying to live beneath what I called you to, but because pain stayed close for so long that its voice started sounding familiar. It spoke in moments when you were already tired. It whispered after disappointments. It settled into your thoughts after rejection, after betrayal, after delays you did not understand, after prayers that seemed to hang in the air longer than your heart felt able to endure. And over time, without even meaning to, you began to let those whispers shape the way you saw yourself. You started measuring your worth through wounds. You started interpreting your future through fear. You started reading your own life through the lens of what hurt you instead of through the truth of who I created you to be. That is why I am asking you now, very plainly, to stop and examine what you have been agreeing with. Listen carefully. Some of what you believe about yourself was born in pain, not in truth. Some of the labels you carry were formed in survival, not in wisdom. Some of the conclusions you reached about your value, your place, your timing, your lovability, your purpose, and your ability to be at peace did not come from me at all. They came from seasons that wounded you. They came from moments that shook you. They came from people who spoke from their own brokenness. They came from experiences that left marks, and because those marks were deep, you started mistaking them for identity. But I need you to hear me with a calm, firm, fatherly certainty. Pain may have touched you, but it does not name you. It may have shaped some of your habits, but it does not own your design. It may have influenced how you learn to protect yourself, but it does not have the authority to define your future. I do. And when I look at you, I do not see what fear has been trying to convince you of. I do not see someone who is too damaged to be trusted with joy. I do not see someone who is too late to be restored. I do not see someone who must remain guarded forever in order to stay safe. I do not see someone whose best days were lost because certain chapters were painful. I see my child. I see someone I have been walking with through every hidden storm. I see someone whose tenderness did not die, even if it became protected. I see someone whose hope was bruised, not buried. I see someone whose heart had been tired, yes, but not beyond renewal. And I need you to cooperate with me here. Do not brush past this. Sit with it. Let it challenge the old story. Let it confront the false familiarity of the inner voice that has spoken to you for too long. Ask yourself what pain has been teaching you. Ask yourself what fear has convinced you to expect. Ask yourself what shame has tried to make permanent. Then bring it all into the light. Bring it to me. Do not hide behind vague prayers. Be specific. Tell me what you have started believing. Tell me where you feel small. Tell me where you assume rejection before love even arrives. Tell me where you sabotage peace because part of you no longer trusts it to stay. Tell me where you call yourself strong when you are really just exhausted. Bring those places closer. Let me touch them. Let me correct what has been crooked inside your thinking. Let me pull apart what hurt taught you and what truth actually says. Because until you let me do that, you will keep reacting to life from wounds that no longer deserve that kind of authority in you. And I love you too much to let your pain keep narrating your identity while I remain silent. So listen again, slowly this time. You are not who pain told you that you are. And because this matters so deeply, I need you to go one step further with me now. I do not just want you to understand that pain lied to you in certain places. I want you to begin actively refusing its authority. My child, this is where healing becomes more than comfort. This is where it becomes alignment. This is where you stop merely noticing the false voice and start closing the door on it. I want you to do something with what I am saying. Do not just nod at these words and move on. Receive them, then respond. Reject the lie that says you are hard to love. Reject the lie that says you always have to prepare for disappointment. Reject the lie that says if you relax, everything will fall apart. Reject the lie that says your past has already written the limits of your future. Reject the lie that says being guarded is the same thing as being wise. Reject the lie that says your delays mean you were forgotten. Reject the lie that says the parts of you that still ache are proof that you are failing. Those are not small thoughts. Those are shaping thoughts. Those are atmosphere-setting thoughts. Those are the kind of beliefs that quietly build the emotional climate of your whole life. And if you let them stay unchallenged, they will keep influencing the way you love, the way you rest, the way you pray, the way you trust, and the way you respond to the good things I tried to place in front of you. Oh, take this seriously. Guard the gate of your inner life. Watch what you agree with. Stop rehearsing pain as if repetition will somehow make it safer. Stop returning to old emotional scripts just because they are familiar. Familiar is not always faithful. Familiar is not always safe. Familiar is not always true. Sometimes what feels familiar is simply what has gone unchallenged for too long. I am asking you now to let me retrain the way you see yourself. Let me show you what it means to live from identity instead of injury. Let me teach you how to recognize when an old wound is trying to make a new decision for you. Let me show you how peace feels when it is not interrupted by constant suspicion. Let me show you what trust looks like when it is rooted in me rather than in perfect circumstances. Let me show you how to walk through life without constantly bracing for impact. I know you may not know how to do that yet, and that is all right. You do not need to arrive at that in one moment. But you do need to begin. Begin now. Open your heart. Loosen your grip on the old narrative. Let your body relax. Let your breathing slow. Speak honestly with me. Say what hurts. Say what you fear. Say what you believe. Then stay long enough to let my truth answer it. I am not asking you to pretend your wounds never happened. I am not asking you to erase the chapters that shaped you. I am asking you to stop handing them the pen. Let me write from here. Let me speak louder than the echoes. Let me father the places in you that have been listening to pain as if it were a teacher. It is not your teacher anymore. I am. And if you let this truth settle into your spirit, something powerful will begin to change. You will start catching yourself before fear finishes its sentence. You will start noticing where old pain tries to step in and make decisions that belong to present truth. You will begin to feel less ruled by what once felt automatic. That is how freedom often begins, my beloved child. Quietly, honestly, deeply. And from this point on, I want you to remember this whenever the old voice rises again. Pain may remember your wounds, but I remember your name. Pain may point backward, but I am still leading you forward. Pain may describe what happened, but it never gets to define who you are. That belongs to me, and I am not finished speaking over your life. My child, I need you to slow down right here and let this part reach the place in you that has been tired for longer than you have admitted, because some of what is exhausting you is not the life I gave you, but the weight you have kept lifting as if it were assigned to you. I want you to stop for a moment and really look at what you have been carrying. Do not glance at it and move on. Do not brush it aside with another "I'm fine" or another promise that you will deal with it later. Look at it honestly. Feel the heaviness of it. Name it. You have been carrying other people's reactions as if they were your responsibility. You have been carrying the pressure to make sense of situations that were never yours to solve. You have been carrying regret over things you would change if you could, and because you cannot go back, you have quietly turned that regret into a burden you drag through the present. You have been carrying the memory of what was said to you, what was not said to you, what should have happened but never did, and what you kept hoping would change if you just held on a little longer. You have been carrying your own expectations of who you thought you should be by now, where you thought you should be by now, and how much easier you imagined peace would feel by now. You have been carrying your fear of disappointing others. You have been carrying your fear of being misunderstood. You have been carrying your fear of letting go of control because part of you still believes that if you loosen your grip, everything around you might come apart. And I need you to hear me clearly, much of that was never yours. Some of it attached itself to you because you care deeply. Some of it stayed because you are thoughtful, loyal, and sincere. Some of it settled on your shoulders because you were trying to be responsible, trying to be loving, trying to be wise. But somewhere along the way, responsibility turned into over-responsibility, care turned into self-neglect, and wisdom turned into constant inner strain. You started holding things that belong in my hands. You started trying to manage outcomes that no human heart was designed to control. You started acting as if your constant vigilance was the thing keeping your world from collapsing. My child, come closer and listen carefully, because this matters more than you know. Your clenched grip is not the reason you are still standing. My sustaining hand is. Your endless analyzing is not what preserved you. My mercy did. Your exhausting efforts to anticipate every possible disappointment did not secure your peace. In truth, they slowly drained it. I am not saying this to shame you. I am saying it because I want to free you. I want you to stop confusing burden-bearing with faithfulness. I want you to stop measuring your maturity by how much stress you can absorb without breaking down in front of anyone. I want you to stop believing that if you just think harder, fix faster, and carry more, you will finally feel safe. That path has not led you to peace, and you know it. It has left you tired. It has left you tense. It has left you with a mind that struggles to rest and a heart that feels like it is always bracing. So listen to me now and do not resist this invitation. Release what I did not ask you to carry. Open your hands. Loosen your jaw. Breathe deeper. Stop rehearsing every outcome in your mind as if worry can somehow prepare your soul. It cannot. It only wears you down. Bring me the burden of needing everyone to understand you. Bring me the burden of trying to fix what other people refuse to face. Bring me the burden of carrying old guilt that I never asked you to drag into every new day. Bring me the burden of trying to be enough for everyone while quietly starting your own inner life. Lay it down. Do not negotiate with it. Do not organize it. Do not make one last excuse for why you still need it. Lay it down. And because I know how deeply this pattern has settled into you, I want to go even deeper here, because you do not only carry heavy things with your mind. You carry them in your body, in your habits, in your reflexes, in the invisible way you move through life, always half prepared for the next demand, the next disappointment, the next thing that might require more from you than you feel you have left to give. That is why rest has sometimes felt difficult even when you have time. That is why quiet has sometimes made you uncomfortable instead of peaceful. That is why moments that should feel simple can still feel tense inside you, because the burden is no longer just a thought. It has become a posture. It has become a way of being. And I want you to hear me with fatherly tenderness and holy firmness, that posture is not your identity. It is a learned response. It is not who you are. It is what you became while trying to survive seasons that stretched you too far. There is a difference, and that difference matters. If you keep calling it just how I am, you will keep defending what I am trying to heal. So do not do that anymore. Stop labeling your exhaustion as personality. Stop calling your constant tension discernment when often it is simply the residue of carrying too much for too long. Stop baptizing your overthinking as wisdom when so much of it is fear trying to feel useful. Come into agreement with me instead. Let me teach you what surrender actually looks like in the places where your nervous system has been trained by stress more than by trust. Sit with me. Stay longer than is comfortable. Let silence become a place where you meet me rather than a space you fill with worry. Let your body begin to learn what safety feels like in my presence. Let your heart discover that it does not have to keep standing guard every second. I know this will not happen all at once, and I am not demanding instant perfection from you. I am inviting willing participation. Start today. The next time you feel the urge to carry what is not yours, pause. The next time you start trying to solve a problem that belongs to another person's choices, stop and ask whether I ever assigned that burden to you. The next time your mind begins building 100 possible futures because uncertainty feels threatening, interrupt the spiral. Breathe. Return to me. Say, Father, this belongs in your hands, not mine. Do that sincerely. Do it repeatedly when needed, not as a ritual of fear but as an act of trust. And understand this, my beloved child, letting go is not your responsibility. It is obedience when the weight was never yours to begin with. It is not weakness to release what crushes you. It is wisdom. It is not carelessness to stop carrying what had been draining the life out of your spirit. It is alignment. I am not asking you to stop caring. I am asking you to stop carrying in the wrong way. Care with me, not instead of me. Walk with me, not ahead of me. Trust me, not your own constant inner pressure. I can hold what you cannot. I can see what you cannot. I can manage what you were never meant to manage. So come now. Step out of the old habit. Hand me the pressure. Hand me the guilt. Hand me the need to control. Hand me the emotional weight of every closed door, every unanswered question, every delayed outcome, every misunderstanding, every invisible grief. Do not keep dragging it. You have done that long enough. Let this be the moment where your shoulders stop trying to do the work of my hands. Let this be the moment where your soul stops proving how much it can carry and starts learning how deeply it can trust. Because when you finally stop carrying what was never yours, you will discover something beautiful. The life beneath the burden is still there, waiting for you. And I intend to lead you back into it. My child, as you lay down what was never yours to carry, I am placing something sacred into your hands, a chance to carry what truly matters. Not burdens, but purpose. Not pressure, but participation in my work across the earth. When you give, you are not taking weight back. You are planting seeds of light that will rise in places where darkness has lingered too long. Hear me clearly. Give, and it will be given unto you, not as empty words, but as a living promise that breathes over your obedience. This is how you step out of survival and into overflow, by trusting me enough to release what you hold. There are souls waiting for this message, and your act of giving becomes the bridge that reaches them. Do not let fear or hesitation reclaim the ground you just surrendered. Give through super thanks, join in membership, or use the PayPal link in the description. Do it now, and step fully into the freedom of trusting me with both your burdens and your blessing. My child, I know there were seasons when my silence felt like the hardest thing to bear, and I need you to let me speak into that wound now because you have carried confusion there for too long. There were moments when you prayed with sincerity and nothing seemed to shift. You asked for clarity, and the fog stayed. You asked for relief, and the pressure remained. You asked me for a sign, and the ordinary rhythm of your days kept moving as if heaven had not heard you at all. I know how deeply that unsettled you. I know how many times you wondered if I had stepped back, if I had gone quiet because I was disappointed, if I had left you to figure it out alone because maybe you should have known better by now. I know how quickly the human heart tries to interpret silence as distance when it is already tired, already aching, already afraid of being forgotten. And I know that part of you started building quiet conclusions inside yourself during those seasons. You started telling yourself that maybe you had missed something. Maybe you were praying wrong. Maybe you had delayed your own breakthrough. Maybe the closed doors meant you were not meant for what you hoped. Maybe the unanswered questions meant your desires were too much, too late, too unrealistic, too flawed. My child, come closer and hear me carefully. My silence was never abandonment. It was never indifference. It was never me stepping away from you in frustration. It was never proof that your tears failed to move me. It was never a sign that your prayers were floating in emptiness. My silence was full. It was full of protection. It was full of unseen movement. It was full of restraint in places where a rushed answer would have harmed more than healed. It was full of timing you could not yet understand. It was full of me standing between you and doors you kept asking to open, even while I could see what stood behind them. It was full of me allowing certain illusions to fade so you would stop building your life around what could never truly hold you. It was full of me slowing your pace because you were moving toward things that looked like relief, but would have deepened your weariness. I know you hated that silence. I know it tested your trust. I know it brought hidden fears to the surface. But do not misread what happened. I was there in every pause. I was there in every delay. I was there in the unanswered space between your prayer and the visible outcome. I was not absent in the waiting. I was active in ways you could not measure. I was strengthening foundations. I was exposing motives. I was revealing attachments. I was teaching your heart how to survive without instant reassurance. I was showing you what you reach for when comfort did not come quickly. I was letting you see the places where your peace was still too dependent on speed, certainty, approval, or control. That was not punishment. That was preparation. And I need you to stop speaking of those quiet seasons as if they were empty wastelands. They were sacred workshops. They were deep places. They were hidden rooms where I was doing work that did not announce itself loudly because some of the most important things I do and you are not dramatic when they begin. They are subtle. They are deep. They are often misunderstood until later. So pause now. Do not rush past this. Revisit those silent seasons with me, not through the lens of rejection, but through the lens of revelation. Ask me what I was protecting. Ask me what I was healing. Ask me what I refused to give you too early because I loved you too much to let timing become another wound. Then stay still long enough to let your memory be redeemed. Because if you keep remembering silence only as pain, You will keep distrusting the very places where I was doing some of my most faithful work. And there is something even deeper I need you to understand, because the silence you hated did more than delay answers. It revealed what was happening inside you, and that revelation, though uncomfortable, was one of the most loving things I could have allowed. My child, when the noise dies down and immediate solutions do not appear, the heart begins to show itself. That is what happened in you. When the quick comfort did not come, your deeper dependencies came into view. You saw how much you wanted certainty before trust. You saw how much you wanted resolution before surrender. You saw how much of your emotional balance depended on visible movement, quick reassurance, or signs that matched your expectations. That discovery may have felt like weakness, but it was actually honesty. And honesty is holy ground when you let me meet you there. In the silence, your habits surfaced. In the waiting, your assumptions became visible. In the unanswered space, your hidden fears began speaking louder than usual, not because I was failing you, but because I was allowing buried things to rise where they could finally be seen and healed. This is why I need you to stop resenting every unanswered season and start asking better questions about it. Do not only ask, why was it taking so long? Ask, what was being uncovered in me while I waited? Do not only ask, why did heaven seem quiet? Ask, what did the quiet reveal that constant noise had been helping me avoid? You not only ask, why didn't I get what I wanted sooner? Ask, would I have been able to receive it in a healthy way if it had come then? Those questions will change the way you remember your story. They will soften your anger. They will deepen your understanding. They will help you see that silence was not the absence of love, but often the evidence of careful love. And I want you to do something practical with this now. Reconsider the places where you assumed I was late. Reconsider the relationships you begged to keep that later revealed why they could not remain. Reconsider the opportunities you mourned that now, with more wisdom, you can see would have fed your ego more than your peace. Reconsider the long pauses that made you feel overlooked but actually built endurance, discernment, humility, and a deeper hunger for me than you had before. Sit with those memories. Do not romanticize the pain, but do not waste the meaning either. Let me reinterpret those chapters for you. Let me show you that I was not withholding care. I was delivering a different kind of care than the kind you expected. And now I want to invite you into something new. The next time silence comes, do not panic so quickly. The next time answers do not arrive on your timeline, do not immediately assume you have been abandoned. The next time you find yourself in a stretch where nothing seems obvious, do not run first to fear. Come to me first. Sit longer. Ask deeper. Listen differently. Let the silence become a meeting place instead of a threat. Let it become the room where trust matures. Let it become the place where your reflex to control is gently undone. Let it become the space where you discover that my presence is not measured by noise. I can be profoundly near while appearing externally quiet. I can be deeply active while everything around you seems still. I can be moving beneath the surface while your circumstances have not yet caught up to what I have already set in motion. This is why I am telling you now with fatherly certainty. The silence you hated was not empty. It was occupied by my hand. It was shaped by my wisdom. It was guarded by my love. And if you let this truth settle in you, you will begin to fear the quiet less, trust the waiting more, and recognize that even in the chapters where you heard the least, I was often caring the most. My child, I want you to come very close for this part, because what I am about to say touches something more personal than you may be ready to admit, and yet it is exactly what your heart has been aching for in quiet ways for a long time. I am calling you back to yourself. not the version of you that learned how to perform strength while quietly feeling hollow, not the version of you that became efficient, useful, and emotionally guarded because life taught you that survival sometimes required distance, not the version of you that kept adjusting to disappointment until your own desires started feeling inconvenient. I am calling you back to the self I formed before fear trained your reflexes, before pain shaped your posture, before pressure convinced you that your worth depended on how much you could carry without falling apart in front of anyone. You may not realize how far you drifted because the drift did not happen in one dramatic moment. It happened slowly. It happened in the small ways you stopped asking for what you needed. It happened in the way you became less honest about what hurt. It happened in the way you stopped expecting peace to stay. It happened in the way you started shrinking your hopes so disappointment would not sting as sharply. It happened in the way you became so focused on functioning that you lost touch with what was happening underneath your own composure. And I am not saying this to accuse you. I am saying it because I know how easy it is for a person to survive so many difficult seasons that survival begins to feel like identity. I know how easy it is to become someone who can handle everything on the outside while slowly becoming a stranger to your own inner life. But listen to me now and let this settle where it needs to settle. The version of you that learned how to cope is not the whole of you. The version of you that adapted to pressure is not the final version of you. The guarded self, the over-responsible self, the always bracing self, the self that keeps scanning for the next burden before the current one is even set down, that is not the deepest truth of who you are. Those are layers. Those are responses. Those are survival patterns. They are not the sacred core of the person I breathed into being. And this is why I am speaking with such tenderness and such firmness right now. I do not want you to keep confusing adaptation with identity. I do not want you to keep living at a distance from your own soul and calling it maturity. I do not want you to keep mistaking numbness for peace or self-protection for wisdom. I want your heart back. I want your honesty back. I want your softness back, not in a way that makes you vulnerable to every careless hand, but in a way that allows you to live connected to me, connected to truth, and connected to the life inside you that has been buried beneath too much strain for too long. So stop and notice yourself. Notice what you avoid. Notice where you disconnect. Notice how quickly you dismiss your own needs. Notice the places where you have become more committed to managing perception than to living in truth. Notice where you call yourself fine when your soul is asking for breath. Do not turn away from the awareness. Stay with it. Let it teach you. Let it open the door. Because I am not merely offering comfort here. I am inviting you into return. Return to honesty. Return to wholeness. Return to the version of yourself that can still feel without being ruled by fear. Return to the self that can receive love without immediately preparing for loss. Return to the part of you that still knows how to trust me before every answer appears. Come back. Do not delay. Do not tell yourself you will deal with this later. Come back now. Come back while your heart is listening. Come back while the truth is close enough to touch. And because this return is so important, I need you to understand that coming back to yourself does not mean going backward to who you were before life hurt you. It does not mean becoming naive again. It does not mean pretending the hard chapters never happened. It does not mean erasing wisdom, lowering discernment, or opening every door you once had to close. And no, my child, what I am calling you into is something much deeper and much holier than that. I am calling you into integration. I am calling you into a life where your experiences no longer fracture you into separate versions of yourself. I am calling you into a life where the wounded parts do not have to stay hidden, the strong parts do not have to carry everything alone, and the hopeful parts do not have to be shamed into silence. I want the whole of you to come home. I want the parts of you that learned to survive to finally rest. I want the parts of you that became defensive to discover they do not have to keep guarding every inch of your inner world. I want the parts of you that still ache to stop feeling like they must apologize for existing. And I want you to cooperate with me here. Do not just admire these words. Act on them. Make space for this return. Sit in my presence longer than usual. Be honest in ways you have been avoiding. Name what you miss about the version of yourself that felt more alive, more open, more grounded, more present. Name what you are tired of pretending. Name the habits that helped you endure but now keep you disconnected. Name the emotional shortcuts you take to avoid feeling too much. Bring them into the light. Then let me show you which ones are wisdom and which ones are simply old fear dressed in familiar clothing. This is how return begins. It begins in honesty. It deepens in surrender. It grows when you stop defending the very patterns that are starving your peace. I know some part of you may be afraid of what happens if you let these layers come down. You may wonder if you will feel too much. You may worry that if you stop managing everything so tightly, old pain will rush in all at once. But hear me carefully. I am not asking you to tear yourself open without my care. I am asking you to let me walk you back, slowly and safely, into a fuller way of living. I will not rush your healing. I will not expose what I do not also intend to hold. I will not awaken what I refuse to tend. But I do need your willingness. I need your consent. I need your honest yes. Say yes to the return. Say yes to becoming internally aligned again. Say yes to the possibility that you are not stuck being who pain trained you to become. Say yes to the truth that your deepest self is not gone, only buried beneath layers that can be gently removed in my presence. And as you begin to say yes, you will notice something changing. You will feel moments of softness where tension once ruled. You will catch yourself before you automatically disconnect. You will sense old reflexes loosening. You will begin to feel more present in your own life. That is not weakness. That is restoration. That is what it feels like when a soul starts coming home. So let me say this clearly before we move forward. I am not calling you back to a past version of yourself. I am calling you forward into the truest version of yourself. The one that includes what you have lived through but is no longer ruled by it. The one that carries wisdom without becoming hard. The one that can rest without guilt. The one that can trust without needing total control. The one that can be deeply alive again. That is the return I am inviting you into. That is the homecoming I have been preparing. And if you will keep walking with me, you are going to discover that the self you thought you lost was never fully gone. I have been guarding that sacred part of you all along, waiting for the moment when you were finally ready to come back and meet it again. My child, as you return to yourself, you are also returning to the purpose I placed within you before the world tried to reshape you. And part of that purpose is this: to be a vessel through which my word flows, like living water that revives the weary and restores the lost. When you give, you are not just supporting a message, you are helping awaken hearts that have forgotten who they are. I am speaking this over you now. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. This is the life I am inviting you into. Overflow, not emptiness. Impact, not isolation. If you feel the stirring, it is because I am calling you to act, not later, but now. Let your giving become a declaration that you are stepping fully into alignment with me. Support this mission through super thanks. Become a member or give through the PayPal link in the description. Move now and let your return ignite someone else's. My child, I want you to stay very close for this part, because what happens next in your life will not begin with noise, and I do not want you to miss it simply because you were expecting something louder. If you truly receive what I have been saying to you, not just as words that sound comforting for a moment, but as truth you actually let into your heart, something inside you will begin to shift in a way that may feel almost too subtle at first to trust. That is why I am telling you this now. Do not dismiss small beginnings. Do not ignore the gentle changes because they do not arrive with thunder. Do not assume transformation is not real just because it begins quietly. The deepest work I do in you often starts beneath the surface, in places where you do not immediately have language for what is happening. You may notice that your mind does not run quite as fast in moments that used to trap you. You may feel a strange stillness appear where anxiety once took over without permission. You may realize that something which used to pull you into spirals now loses its grip more quickly than before. You may find yourself pausing before reacting. You may hear an old inner accusation rise, but this time it will not land with the same force. You may sense a softness in your chest when you would normally feel tightness. You may feel less desperate to explain yourself to people who were never willing to understand you in the first place. You may notice that you are no longer reaching for the same false comforts, the same exhausting habits, the same overthinking loops, the same emotional escape routes that once felt necessary. My child, that is not weakness. That is not passivity. That is not you becoming careless. That is what it looks like when my peace starts taking up more space than your fear. That is what it looks like when truth begins to crowd out old lies that have lived in your thinking for too long. That is what it looks like when you stop merely surviving and begin, quietly, to come alive again. But I need you to understand something important. If you receive this, the first evidence may not be external. It may not be the immediate answer you wanted. It may not be the dramatic breakthrough you imagined. It may begin within you before it appears around you. And I do not want you to become discouraged if the outer world takes time to reflect what has already begun in your spirit. Some of you have been trained to look for visible proof before you trust what is happening. I am asking you to let that go. Learn to recognize holy movement inside before you demand confirmation outside. Learn to honor the internal shift. Learn to notice when your reactions change. Learn to recognize when the atmosphere of your own heart begins to lighten. It matters more than you know. Because once your inner world changes, the way you walk through life changes with it. You make different decisions. You stop chasing what empties you. You stop begging for crumbs where I intended a table. You stop calling chaos normal just because it had been familiar. You stop treating your own exhaustion like a permanent personality trait. You stop agreeing with the false urgency that once drove you. And I want you to participate in this with me. Do not sit back and wait passively. Welcome the shift. Cooperate with it. When you feel peace interrupt an old panic, do not rush to recreate the panic because it feels familiar. Stay with the peace. When you catch yourself about to rehearse an old fear, stop. Breathe. Choose differently. When you notice that your soul is craving quiet instead of noise, honor that. Make room for it. Guard it. When you feel less compelled to prove yourself, do not panic and wonder if you are losing your edge. You are not losing yourself. You are losing what was suffocating you. That is what happens when you receive this. Something in you begins to unclench. Something in you begins to trust. Something in you begins to remember what life feels like when it is not ruled by inner warfare. So stay open. Do not interrupt the healing just because it arrives gently. Receive it fully. Let it settle deeply. Let it grow roots. And because I love you, I also need to prepare you for another part of what happens when you truly receive this. You will begin to outgrow things, and that can feel beautiful and uncomfortable at the same time. My child, when truth enters deeply, It changes your taste. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you reach for. It changes what you can no longer call peace when you now know it is only avoidance. It changes what you can no longer call love when you now know it is only inconsistency. It changes what you can no longer call wisdom when you now see it was just fear trying to stay in control. If you receive what I am giving you, there will be places in your life that start feeling too small for who you are becoming. Conversations that once felt normal will start feeling draining. Attachments that once felt urgent will begin to lose their hold. Habits that once helped you cope will begin to feel out of alignment. Even some of your own inner patterns will become harder to live with, because once light enters, you cannot be as comfortable with what kept you dim. That is not punishment. That is growth. That is not instability. That is alignment. And I need you to welcome that rather than resist it. Do not cling to what no longer fits just because it once helped you survive. Do not return to old thought patterns just because they are familiar. Do not keep reopening doors that I am gently helping you close. When you begin to feel the friction of outgrowing what once defined you, do not panic. Stand still. Ask me what is changing. Ask me what I am teaching you to release. Ask me where I am stretching your capacity for peace, for honesty, for rest, for deeper trust. Then follow me there, step by step, choice by choice. This is what happens if you receive this. You become less available for the things that kept you spiritually and emotionally depleted. You become more sensitive to what nourishes you and what quietly drains you. You begin to notice that not every invitation deserves a yes, not every burden deserves your shoulders, not every voice deserves access to your peace. You begin to move with more intention. You begin to live with more internal clarity. And perhaps most beautifully of all, you stop feeling like you are constantly trying to outrun yourself. There is a settledness that begins to grow. There is a steadiness that does not depend on whether every circumstance lines up perfectly. There is a deeper confidence that comes from being rooted in truth rather than driven by fear. I want that for you. I want you to experience what it feels like to wake up and not immediately feel chased by pressure. I want you to know what it is like to sit in quiet and not be ambushed by the same old inner storm. I want you to know what it feels like to make decisions from peace rather than from panic. And yes, I also want you to understand that receiving this means responsibility. Not heavy, crushing responsibility, but holy responsibility. Once I show you what is true, do not go back and pretend you did not see it. Once I teach you what peace feels like, do not keep volunteering for chaos just because it once felt familiar. Once I reveal where you have been living from wounds, do not hand those wounds the microphone again. Protect what I am building in you. Tend to it. Return to it. Feed it with honesty, with stillness, with trust, with my presence. This is how transformation becomes durable. This is how healing becomes more than a moment. This is how your life begins to change from the inside out. So receive this fully, my beloved child. Do not skim it. Do not admire it from a distance. Let it mark you. Let it move you. Let it reorder what has been disordered. Let it soften what had been hardened. Let it interrupt what have been automatic. Because if you truly receive this, you will not become a different person in a false way. You will become more fully yourself in the truest way, and the life that grows from that will feel like coming up for air after holding your breath far too long. My child, now that you have come this far with me, I do not want you to leave this moment carrying only emotion. I do not want you to walk away with a stirred heart but no anchor. I do not want this to become another powerful moment that fades the second life becomes noisy again. So stay with me a little longer. Hold still inside. Let what I say now settle into you like something you will carry beyond this day. What I need you to remember after this is simple, but it is not small. I have not been silent because I stopped caring. I have not delayed because I forgot you. I have not allowed certain seasons because I wanted to watch you suffer. And I have not spoken now because you finally earned my attention. I have been here the whole time. I was here when you were holding yourself together in ways no one else noticed. I was here when you were tired of explaining what you could barely understand yourself. I was here when you were disappointed and tried to act stronger than you felt. I was here when you were trying to make peace with things that quietly kept hurting you. I was here when you kept moving because you did not know what else to do. I was here when you started believing lies that pain had no right to teach you. I was here in the waiting, in the tension, in the silence, in the hidden places, in the moments when you were sure no one saw the real weight you were carrying. I saw you all. I held you in ways you did not know how to measure. And now I want you to remember this as clearly as you remember your own name. You are still mine. You are still loved. You are still being led. You are still deeply known. You are still recoverable in every place that feels scattered. You are still reachable in every place that feels numb. You are still being called into a life far deeper than the one you have been merely managing. Do not forget that when tomorrow feels ordinary. Do not forget that when your mind tries to return to old patterns. Do not forget that when a familiar fear comes back and tries to speak like it still owns the room. Stop when that happens. Pause. Breathe. Come back to what I told you here. Tell yourself the truth again. Remind your heart who hath been speaking to it. Let my words interrupt the old noise. Refuse to let this become a passing emotional moment. Yarde. Protected. Revisited. Return to it. I want you to take this with you into your mornings, into your tired evenings, into your decisions, into your reactions, into your relationships, into your private thoughts when no one else is there to hear what your mind is saying. When the old heaviness tries to return, do not greet it like an old friend. When shame tries to revisit familiar ground, do not offer it a chair. When fear starts rehearsing what might go wrong, do not let it narrate the whole day. Interrupt it. Speak truth over it. Hand it back to me. You have learned too much here to keep living as if nothing shifted. You have heard too much truth to keep agreeing with every old lie. So remember what I said. Carry it carefully. Let it become part of the way you move. Let it become part of the way you think. Let it become part of the way you treat your own heart. Because this is not just the end of a message. This is a turning point if you let it be. And I want you to let it be. And there is one more thing I need you to remember after this, my beloved child. And I want you to hold it close because it will matter in the days ahead more than you realize right now. You do not need to walk perfectly from here, but you do need to walk honestly. Do not put pressure on yourself to leave this moment and suddenly never struggle again. Do not turn this into another burden. Do not take what I gave you as comfort and somehow twist it into a demand for instant perfection. That is not my heart toward you. I am not asking you to become flawless by tomorrow. I am asking you to stay close. I am asking you to stay responsive. I am asking you to remember what is true when old habits try to pull you backward. I am asking you to notice when you are drifting and return sooner instead of waiting until you feel lost again. I am asking you to let my voice become more familiar than the voice of fear. I am asking you to build new reflexes with me. When you feel pressure rising, come to me. When you feel yourself overthinking, stop and breathe in my presence. When you feel the urge to carry what was never yours, release it faster. When you notice old pain trying to define your identity again, challenge it immediately. When silence comes, do not assume absence. When peace comes, do not sabotage it just because chaos once felt normal. When tenderness rises in you, do not be ashamed of it. When you sense yourself softening, do not panic. Let it happen. Trust what I am doing. Cooperate with it. And above all, remember that I am not standing far away waiting to see whether you succeed. I am walking with you in every step. I am not observing from a distance. I am involved. I am near. I am patient. I am attentive. I am still speaking, still guiding, still correcting with love, still comforting, still drawing you forward. So do not reduce this moment to something you felt. Let it become something you practice. Practice surrender. Practice truth. Practice stillness. Practice refusing lies. Practice resting when your old patterns tell you to panic. Practice bringing your real heart to me instead of only your polished words. This is how what happened here becomes part of your life instead of just part of your memory. And I want to leave you with this, not as a slogan, not as a dramatic line, but as something living and steady that you can return to when your mind grows noisy again. You do not have to keep living like the hardest chapter gets the final word. You do not have to keep wearing survival like it is your permanent identity. You do not have to keep dragging old weight into every new day. You do not have to keep calling distance peace or exhaustion strength. I have spoken now because it is time. I have called you now because you are ready to come further than you think. I have met you now because I intend to keep leading you. So take my hand in the quiet way that truly matters. Walk with me from here. Do not rush ahead. Do not turn this into performance. Stay close. Stay honest. Stay soft enough to hear me. Stay willing enough to obey when I show you what to release, what to keep, where to stop, where to trust, where to rest, where to begin again. That is what I need you to remember after this. Not just that I spoke, but that I am still speaking. Not just that I reached for you here, but that I am still reaching. Not just that you felt something in this moment, but that you are invited to keep living from it. And if you do, my child, you will discover that this was never merely the end of a message. It was the beginning of a different way of walking with me, with yourself, and with the life I have been patiently preparing for you all along. My child, now that you know this is not the end, but the beginning, I am calling you to seal this moment with action. Do not let what you received remain only within you. Release it, multiply it, send it forward into the lives of others who are still waiting for this exact encounter. When you give, you become a co-laborer with me, sowing into a harvest you may never fully see, but one that heaven records in fullness. I declare over you, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain. This is not obligation. This is invitation into abundance, into impact, into eternal significance. If your heart has been moved, that is my voice urging you. Step forward, respond, act. Do not delay what I am prompting in you right now. Give through super thanks, walk deeper through membership, or use the PayPal link in the description. Act now, and let this moment become the turning point not only for you, but for many through you. If this message found you at the exact moment you needed it, do not scroll away in silence. Write "I'm not holding it in anymore" in the comments, and make that your faith-filled declaration before heaven and before your own heart. Let this be the line where the silence breaks, where the weight lifts, and where you stop carrying what God never asked you to keep. If this word was for you, type "Father, I release it all to you," and seal this moment with bold belief. Do not leave this message untouched. Leave your declaration, because what you speak in faith today can become the turning point you remember tomorrow. And once you have spoken those words, Do not rush away from what you have just released. Let the silence you broke become a place where your heart can finally rest. What you have surrendered in faith has already begun to lift from your shoulders. And now I am drawing closer, not to add more, but to take what you were never meant to carry. So stay here for a moment, breathe deeply, and let me meet you in the space you just opened. My child, I have been waiting for this exact moment. For so long, I have held these words in my heart, watching you navigate your days with that heavy, unspoken weight on your tired shoulders. I see the way you wake up, already exhausted before your feet even touch the floor. I see the constant pressure at your job, the silent tension at your family dinner table, and that deep, lingering fear of the future that keeps your eyes wide open at 2 in the morning. You have been running, striving, and trying to hold your entire world together with your own 2 hands. Stop now. Put down the burden. I have broken the silence today because my desire to speak to you has become a mighty flood. I cannot let you walk another single step feeling like you are completely on your own. You are not alone. I am right here with you. I chose this very second to reach your heart. You are reading this. You are listening to this, not by some random chance or accident. I arranged this personal encounter just for you. Look at your life right now. Do you feel that tight knot in your stomach? That knot is not from me. Let us undo it together right now. You have reached a breaking point, a quiet exhaustion where your own strength has completely run dry. That is exactly why I stepped in today. When your loud striving stops, my guiding voice starts. I chose this specific moment because your heart is finally fragile enough to let my healing light slip through the cracks. I see the way you feel overlooked by the people you try so hard to please. I see the invisible tears you quickly wipe away when you think no one is watching. I am watching. I have always been watching. And today, I am speaking directly into the messy reality of your everyday life. Feel that gentle pull in your chest right now. Notice that sudden shift in the atmosphere around you. That is my Holy Spirit, gently nudging your soul, telling you to pay close attention. It is exactly like the quiet, still pause in the air right before a heavy summer storm breaks. You can feel the change coming. Do not ignore it. Lean into it. I am wrapping my divine presence around you like a thick, warm blanket on a freezing winter night. Breathe in my peace. Exhale your frantic worry. I am whispering to your spirit, offering you a lifeline out of your daily struggles. You have felt the subtle tug before, when you were driving home in absolute silence, or when you stared out the window, wondering if there is more to this exhausting, repetitive routine. That was me. That was always me, reaching out to comfort your weary heart. The world you live in is overwhelmingly loud. It screams at you with endless demands, glowing screens, breaking news, and the constant pressure to perform, produce, and succeed. It tells you that you are falling behind, that you are simply not enough. Close your ears to those destructive lies. Close your eyes for just one moment. Do you hear it? My whisper in the silence, calling you forward into a better way to live. I need you to step away from the crushing noise of your daily grind. You cannot hear my clear instructions for your life while you are drowning in the demands of your job and the heavy expectations of others. Turn down the volume of the world. Come sit with me in the quiet space. I will replace your spirit-shrinking anxiety with a fierce, unbreakable calm. I will give you the clear direction you have been desperately begging for. Listen to me. I know your name. I do not just know the brave face you show to your coworkers or the forced smile you give your friends. I know the real you. I know the you that is scared, the you that feels like a failure, the you that desperately wants to be fully known and truly loved. My beloved, my precious one, you are deeply and fiercely loved. I am your Father, and I am calling you by your true name, redeemed, chosen, and entirely mine. I make you this unshakable promise. If you seek me in the middle of this mess, you will absolutely find me. I am not hiding behind complicated religious rules or locked away in some distant heaven. I am sitting right next to you in the clutter of your living room. I am right there in the passenger seat of your car. Reach out your hand. Take hold of mine. Step into this conversation with me and watch how I completely transform the heavy reality of your life. I see the heavy load you are carrying right now. I watch you drag yourself through the day. Your weary shoulders slump under the crushing weight of responsibilities you were never meant to handle entirely on your own. You have packed your daily life with so much worry. You worry about paying the bills on time. You worry about whether you are doing a good enough job as a parent, a partner, or a friend. You worry about the mistakes you made yesterday and the problems that might happen tomorrow. I see you calculating every possible disaster in your mind, trying to find a solution before the problem even arrives. Stop doing this to yourself. Drop that heavy bag of worries right here, right now, at my feet. I have been waiting for you to finally let go. I have been standing right beside you, watching you struggle to lift a boulder that I could move with a single breath. Hand over your heavy yoke to me. You are trying to pull the plow of your life through hard, dry soil, and it is tearing your spirit apart. Take off that harness of self-reliance. I have a different way for you. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. When you partner with me, we pull together, but I carry the actual weight. I provide the true strength. I want you to completely release the deep guilt of your past mistakes. I know you replay your failures in your head like a terrible movie. You hold on to the sharp words you said in anger, the opportunities you missed, and the times you fell short. Give all of that to me. I have already thrown your past sins and your daily mistakes into my deep sea of forgetfulness. If I have forgotten them, why do you keep fishing them back out? Stop punishing yourself for debts I have already paid in full. Find your true rest in me today. The world offers you temporary escapes, a distraction on a screen, a few hours of sleep, a temporary thrill, but none of those things reach the deep exhaustion in your soul. They cannot provide the true peace I offer, and they certainly cannot protect you from the storms of life. Only I can give you a rest that reaches the very bottom of your heart. It is a quiet confidence that says, "My Father has this, so I do not have to panic." Trust in my unbreakable strength when your own fragile strength has completely failed you. You do not have to be the strong one all the time. You do not have to have all the answers. I am your answer. I am your strength. When your hands are shaking and your mind is completely blank, lean back into my arms. I'm holding you. I'm fighting for you. Take a deep breath right now. Let the tension leave your neck and your jaw. Give me the burden. You are safe. My love for you is not like any love you have ever known. I loved you long before you drew your very first breath. Before your physical body was even formed, I saw your face, and my heart swelled with complete joy. You are entirely mine. Human love is so often tied to a condition. People love you when you perform well, when you say the right things, or when you meet their selfish expectations. And when you make a mistake, they pull away. I see how that conditional affection has left deep scars on your soul. I see how it makes you strive, hustle, and bend over backward just to feel accepted. Stop trying to earn your worth. You cannot earn my love because it is already a free gift. My love does not change when you have a bad day. My love does not shrink when you lose your temper or when you fail at a task. Look directly at the cross. That is the ultimate, undeniable seal of my devotion to you. I did not just speak words of love from a safe distance. I stepped down into the dirt, the pain, and the blood of your world. I sacrificed everything to tear down the wall between us. I did that specifically for you. If you were the only person on this entire earth, I would have still endured that pain just to win your heart back. I want you to understand a profound truth today. Absolutely nothing in all of creation can separate us. No financial ruin, no medical diagnosis, no dark depression, and certainly no mistake you could ever make will ever push me away from you. I am permanently tethered to your soul. I am stubbornly committed to your good. I want you to start seeing yourself exactly as I see you. When you look in the mirror, you see all your flaws. You see the wrinkles, the extra weight, the tired eyes, and the memories of your failures. When I look at you, I see a flawless, redeemed, and beautiful masterpiece. I see the righteousness of my Son covering you completely. Embrace your true identity today. You are not a beggar hoping for leftover crumbs of affection. You are a beloved child of the Most High God. You are a royal heir to a kingdom that will never end. Walk with your head held high. Speak with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are deeply cherished. Stop settling for the cheap, temporary approval of mere people. I have already given you the greatest approval in the universe. Rest in my endless love. Let it wash over your insecurities and heal every broken place in your heart. I was sitting right there with you in the darkest, loneliest rooms. I know exactly what happens when the front door closes. The lights go out, and you are finally alone with your thoughts. I see the brave face you wear for your children, your friends, and your coworkers. But I also see what happens when the mask comes off. I was in the car with you when you gripped the steering wheel and let the tears flow because the pressure was just too much. I was sitting on the edge of your bed when you buried your face in your hands, feeling like no one in the world truly understood the depth of your pain. You felt completely alone, abandoned in the dark. But my child, you were never alone for a single second. I was holding you the entire time. Do not ever think your sadness is ignored. I have carefully collected every single tear you have ever cried. I keep them in my bottle as a precious, holy offering. Your pain matters to me. I validate the deep hurt you have been carrying inside. I know about the betrayal that shattered your trust. I know about the terrible loss that left an empty chair at your table. I know about the dreams that broke right in your hands. Other people might tell you to just get over it or move on, but I sit with you in the grief. I understand the exact shape of your broken heart. Do not hide your genuine pain from me. Bring your raw, unfiltered sorrow into my presence. Let me touch the wounds that you have been trying so desperately to hide from the world. I am actively working to turn your bitter mourning into a dance of quiet hope. I am the great comforter, and I specialize in the midnight hour. When the silence of the night is screaming at you, listen for my gentle voice. I am whispering comfort into your spirit. I promise you this, your pain will not be wasted. I am taking your deepest hurts, your most humiliating defeats, and your darkest seasons, and I am actively transforming them into a powerful testimony of healing. The very thing that the enemy tried to use to completely destroy your mind, I will use to build unbreakable strength within you. One day, you will look back at this dark chapter, and you will see my fingerprints all over it. You will comfort others with the exact same comfort I am giving you right now. Hold on to me in the dark. The morning light is coming. You are not an accident. I did not create you just to fill space on this earth. You are a product of my divine, deliberate plan. I'm in you on purpose, for a purpose. Stop looking at your life and thinking that you are just a random collection of mistakes and missed chances. I see you waking up, going to a job that drains you, coming home exhausted, and wondering, is this really all there is? I hear that quiet whisper in your soul begging for true meaning. I placed that hunger inside you. I packed your soul with very specific gifts, talents, and passions. You have a unique way of speaking, a unique way of caring, a unique way of solving problems that no one else possesses. I designed you with careful precision to solve a problem in this world that only you can solve. Do not resent your current struggle. I know it feels like you are stuck in a waiting room, or worse, trapped in a deep pit. But this exact struggle is a vital training ground. I am preparing you for a much greater work. Just like a sword must be held to the fire and hammered to become strong and sharp, your character is being forged in this current pressure. I am burning away your impatience, your pride, and your fear, so you can carry the massive blessing I have prepared for you. If I gave you the full weight of your destiny right now, it would crush you. So, embrace the difficult training of today. Believe in the seeds I have planted deep in your spirit. They are growing in the dark, even when you cannot see any visible proof above the ground. I am calling you to step fully into the good works I prepared for you long before you were even born. It is time to stop simply surviving and start living a life of true kingdom significance. You do not need a giant stage or a massive audience to do my work. Your calling is found in the everyday moments. It is the way you listen to a broken friend. It is the integrity you show at your workplace when no one is looking. It is the love you pour into your family. That is holy work. Move out of your survival mode. Trust my perfect timing for your life. You are not falling behind. You are exactly where I need you to be to learn the lessons required for your next level. Rise up today. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are deeply needed in this world. I told you that your current struggle is aggressively preparing you for a massive kingdom purpose, and part of that exact purpose begins right this second. For so long, I held this healing message in, but not anymore. It must violently rush out to thousands of exhausted souls who desperately need to hear my voice today. I am directly inviting you to partner with me in this holy rescue mission by supporting this ministry with your earthly resources. When you sow your financial seed, you are pouring explosive oil onto this blazing fire, pushing my light into the darkest corners of the internet where broken people are silently weeping. I declare over you right now, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and completely running over into your lap. Do not ignore this heavy, prophetic appointment to multiply your massive blessing and rescue the lost. Step out in radical faith, give your best seed through super thanks, become a loyal member, or use the PayPal link in the description right now, and watch how I tear open the windows of heaven over your home. My child, do not walk away from me now. I am pouring out the absolute depths of my heart to you, and it deeply grieves my spirit when you close your ears just as I am handing you the massive blueprint for your breakthrough. If you stop listening now, you are choosing the crushing, exhausting noise of the world over my fierce, healing presence. Stay with me. Do not leave me standing here waiting. The greatest transformation of your life is just ahead. I am not repelled by your messy imperfections. I know you think I am constantly disappointed in you. I see how you beat yourself up every time you lose your patience, every time you fall back into an old, bad habit, or every time you let fear make your decisions. You think I stand over you with an angry scowl, ready to strike you down for failing again. Erase that false image from your mind immediately. I am a father of bottomless compassion. When you stumble, I do not turn my back in disgust. I rush forward to help you up. Stop trying to scrub yourself perfectly clean before you come to me. I want you to come to me dirty, broken, and weak. My strength actually works best when you are at your absolute weakest. Find your true perfection in my unlimited strength, not in your own exhausting efforts. You have spent years trying to build a perfect life based on your own good behavior, and it has left you utterly depleted. Break the toxic cycle of performance-based faith today. You do not have to earn your place at my table. You already have a seat. Learn the massive power of saying, "Thy will be done," especially when you feel totally fragile. When you finally admit, "God, I cannot do this," you open the door for me to say, "I know you cannot, but I can, and I will do it through you." Stop keeping a strict scorecard of all your daily failures. I tore that scorecard up the day my son said, "It is finished" on the cross. I give you a brand new supply of mercy every single morning. Yesterday's grace was for yesterday's problems. Today, I have a fresh, overflowing cup of mercy waiting for you. The moment the sun rises, your slate is completely wiped clean again. Do not drag the guilt of yesterday into the beauty of today. Rest your exhausted mind. Stop striving. Stop pretending you have it all together. Rest securely in the finished work of my Son. You are covered. You are protected. You are fully accepted exactly as you are right this second. Breathe in my thick, heavy grace. Let it settle into your bones. Let it calm your racing heart. You are completely safe in my grace. Stop running and let me love you. I see the tight, exhausted grip you have on that old pain. You are holding on to resentment like a heavy, iron shield, falsely thinking it will protect you from ever getting hurt again. I know exactly who hurt you. I know about the sharp words that were spoken behind your back, the sudden betrayal by someone you deeply trusted, and the sincere apologies you never receive. I see how you replay those painful memories in your mind, fueling the anger because letting it go feels like letting them win. Stop drinking this poison. Stop allowing people from your past to control your present peace. Relinquish this heavy, toxic weight of bitterness completely over to my perfect justice. You were never meant to carry the crushing, exhausting burden of revenge or endless resentment. It is slowly tearing you apart from the inside out. Look at how this grudge is blocking the fresh flow of my peace in your daily life. When you hold on to anger, your hands are curled tightly into stiff fists. You cannot possibly receive the massive, new blessings I have waiting for you when your hands are closed around cold, dead things. Open your hands right now. Take a deep, deliberate breath and release your right to stay angry. Let that heavy stone fall to the ground. I am commanding you to forgive them. I am not asking you to do this because they deserve it. I am inviting you to do this because you desperately deserve freedom. I wipe your massive debt entirely clean. I did not hold your worst mistakes against you. Now, I am gently asking you to cancel the debts others owe you. Step out of the dark prison of unforgiveness today. Let us look closely at the broken altars of your relationships. Some of these connections need to be humbly mended, and some of them simply need to be left behind in my careful hands. I want to completely heal your mind from the exhausting what-ifs and the terrible should-haves of yesterday. You spend so much precious energy looking backward, desperately wishing you could rewrite the script of your past. You cannot change yesterday, but you will absolutely destroy today if you keep dragging your painful history into your present moments. Let go of the failures. Let go of the broken expectations. Let go of the people who walked away when you needed them most. Do not chase them. Let them go. I am standing right here, ready to fill your open hands with brand new joy, genuine relationships, and a solid peace that cannot be shaken by the world. But you must make the choice to drop the baggage first. Forgiveness is not a warm feeling. It is a hard, deliberate choice you must make every single morning. When their face flashes in your mind, or when you drive past a place that sparks a painful memory, choose to release them back to me again. Say it out loud. I forgive them, and I trust God to handle the rest. Watch how your body physically responds when you finally let this go. The constant tension in your neck will fade. The tightness in your chest will dissolve. You will sleep with a quiet mind again. I am here to mend your broken heart, but I need you to hand me all the pieces. Trust me with your painful past so I can safely lead you into your beautiful, wide-open future. Step completely into the absolute freedom of forgiveness right now, and let my healing wash over every hidden scar. I know exactly where you are right now. You feel completely stuck. You look at your life and see a vast, dry desert stretching out in every direction. You feel like you are wandering aimlessly, doing the exact same exhausting tasks day after day, without seeing any real progress. You ask me, how much longer do I have to wander in this dry place? Listen to me closely. This wilderness is not a punishment. It is a holy place of deep, personal revelation. I led you here on purpose. Away from the loud noises of your comfort zone, away from the constant applause of people, you can finally hear my voice clearly. Do not despise this quiet, difficult season. I am using this dry dirt to build unshakable strength into your very bones. Stop searching frantically for quick shortcuts to escape this place. I am the pillar of fire in your darkest night, and I am the cloud that covers you in the scorching heat of your daily trials. Keep your eyes firmly fixed on me. If I am moving, you move. If I am standing still, you stand still. Do not rush ahead of my perfect timing just because you are uncomfortable. The slow way is very often my safe way. When you try to force doors open that I have firmly closed, you walk out of my protection. Lean heavily on me when the path ahead is totally obscured by fog and confusion. You do not need to see the entire staircase. You only need enough light from me to take the next single step. Take that step today with bold confidence. I know you are worried about your provision. You look at your bank account, your fading energy, and your limited resources, and panic sets in. Look around you. I am dropping manna right in front of your feet in places where you only expected absolute famine. I am providing exactly what you need for today. Do not hoard today's grace for tomorrow. Do not worry about how you will survive next month. I am the God of right now. Gather the strength I am giving you for today's battles. Eat the daily bread I provide. I am teaching you a completely new level of radical trust. I want you to rely so heavily on me that when the big breakthrough finally comes, you will know without a doubt that I was the one who did it. I am deliberately developing a deep, spiritual thirst inside you that no worldly success can ever quench. You used to be satisfied with the cheap, sugary drinks of human approval, temporary money, and fleeting status. Now, I am drying those up so you will crave the true living water. Drink from my endless well today. Let my spirit hydrate your exhausted, weary soul. When you feel totally empty, it just means you finally have the room to be filled entirely with me. Embrace this wilderness journey. Do not fight the process. Walk closely beside me in the quiet dirt. Let the hot sun burn away your pride and your stubborn self-reliance. I am protecting you. I am guiding you. And I am preparing you to step into a promised land that is richer and more beautiful than anything you have ever imagined. Keep walking. Keep trusting. I am holding your hand through the entire desert. I hear the rapid beating of your heart when the lights go out. I see the heavy, suffocating blanket of panic that drops onto your chest when you think about tomorrow. You are constantly battling worst-case scenarios in your mind, fighting giant, terrifying shadows that do not even exist. You wake up with a tight knot in your stomach, bracing for a disaster that I have not allowed. Stop living in this torture. Stop entertaining the loud, screaming lies of the enemy. The command I give you to fear not is not a harsh, angry demand. It is a gentle, unbreakable promise of my constant presence. I am telling you not to fear because I am standing fiercely right beside you. You do not have to be afraid, because the Maker of the universe is actively defending your life. Let us identify the toxic lies the enemy is whispering directly into your ear. He tells you that you are going to fail. He tells you that your family is going to fall apart. He tells you that your money will run out, your health will completely crash, and you will end up totally alone. Cut those lies off right now. Do not give them a seat at your mental table. Replace that spirit-shrinking, paralyzing fear with my massive spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. You have absolute authority over your own thoughts. When a fearful thought enters your head, I command you to arrest it. Say out loud, I reject this fear, for my God is in complete control. Speak my truth directly into the dark corners of your mind. I want to guard your fragile heart with a peace that completely passes all human understanding. This is not a fragile, temporary calmness that disappears when the phone rings with bad news. This is a heavy, solid, unshakable peace that acts like a military fortress around your mind. Breathe it in right now. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Stand firm against the massive giants of worry that loom in your imagination. They look huge, but they are absolutely powerless against my name. You are a child of the Most High King. You do not have to cower in the corner of your own life. I am already standing in your tomorrow. You are terrified of the future because you cannot see it, but I have already walked there. I have already prepared the solutions for the problems you have not even encountered yet. I have already dispatched the help you will need next week. Why are you sweating over a battle I have already won? Give me your anxious thoughts right now. Hand them over one by one. When panic tries to grip your throat today, pause completely. Close your eyes. Picture me standing directly in front of you, placing my hands firmly on your shaking shoulders. Look into my eyes. Hear me say, I have got you. You are completely safe. Walk out your front door today with your head held high, wrapped in the invisible armor of my total peace. Break the heavy chains of anxiety and step into the bold, fearless life I designed for you. I am celebrating the quiet, beautiful victories in your life that absolutely no one else sees. The world only claps for massive achievements, big bank accounts, and shiny trophies. But I am applauding you for the hidden moments of immense strength. I saw you bite your tongue when you desperately wanted to yell in anger. I saw you choose to get out of bed and pray when you felt totally crushed by depression. I saw you give your last few dollars to someone else when you were worried about your own bills. These are the spectacular, beautiful moments of your spiritual growth. You think you are completely failing because your progress feels so terribly slow. Stop judging your deeply rooted growth by the world's shallow, fast-paced standards. You are growing beautifully, exactly as I plan. Right now, you are feeling the sharp, painful sting of my pruning process. You have lost relationships, opportunities, and comfortable habits, and it feels like you are being stripped completely bare. Do not panic when the sharp shears cut away the dead branches of your life. I am not cutting you down to destroy you. I am carefully pruning you so you can produce a massive, beautiful harvest. Dead things drain your energy. I am removing the toxic connections, the bad habits, and the selfish pride so that my pure life can flow directly into your fruit. Embrace the pain of this necessary cut. It means I care enough about you to refuse to let you remain small and stagnant. I am forcing you to push your roots much deeper into the solid word of life. When the sun is shining and everything is easy, your roots stay lazy and close to the surface. But when the fierce, violent winds of life howl around you, you must dig deep into my promises just to survive. That is exactly what is happening now. You are transitioning from the simple milk of a beginner's faith into the solid, heavy meat of mature spiritual trust. You are learning to trust me in the total dark, not just in the easy light. Your entire character is being powerfully refined in the hot furnace of your daily struggles. Fire burns away the cheap impurities and leaves only solid, unbreakable gold. When you feel the heat turning up in your life, at your job, in your marriage, or in your health, do not jump out of the fire. Stand perfectly still. Let the heat burn away your impatience, your deep insecurities, and your desperate need for human control. I am right there in the flames with you, ensuring that not a single hair on your head is harmed. Look closely at how much you have changed. You are not the same broken, terrified person you were a few years ago. You are becoming a beautiful, shining reflection of my own glory. With every hard choice you make to trust me, your brightness increases. Keep growing. Keep pushing those roots deep into my soil. The fruit you are about to produce will feed thousands, and your strong branches will provide safe shade for generations to come. I am actively pruning your life to produce a massive, beautiful harvest, and right now, I am commanding you to plant a powerful, supernatural seed in this fertile soil. I completely broke my silence today because millions of my children are still dying on the vine, and your financial support is the exact vehicle that carries my living water directly to their parched lips. I am personally inviting you to link arms with this channel to violently push back the heavy, suffocating darkness in this generation. He who supplies massive seed to the sower and bread for food will also multiply your store of seed and enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. This is your urgent, divine moment to invest your earthly treasure into eternal souls that are desperately begging for a lifeline. I promise to fiercely protect your finances and violently multiply every single dollar you sacrifice to spread my unbreakable truth. Move in bold obedience right this very second. Release your powerful gift through Super Thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link below immediately. We have come this far together. Do not abandon this sacred, intimate conversation. It absolutely breaks my heart to watch you even consider pulling away right before the heaviest chains fall completely off your life. I have so much more explosive, life-saving truth to plant directly into your soul today. To stop now is to willfully reject the massive grace I have specifically prepared for your very next step. Keep your eyes locked fiercely on me. Do not break this holy connection. I hear every single word you whisper into the dark. I know there are nights when you bury your face in your tear-soaked pillow, completely exhausted from asking me for the exact same miracle over and over again. You look up at a ceiling that feels like solid brass and wonder, is anyone even listening? Does God even care? Let me give you absolute certainty right now. I hear you. Not a single one of your prayers has fallen to the ground. Every single petition, every desperate cry, and every silent tear rises completely up to my throne like sweet, burning incense. I am collecting them all. I am intensely moved by your honest, broken prayers. You are never, ever wasting your breath when you speak directly to me. I know you are deeply frustrated because the answer has not come in the way you demanded. You want an immediate yes, and you want it right now. But I need you to understand that when I say no or when I command you to wait, it is very often my greatest, most loving yes to your ultimate good. You can only see the tiny, immediate puzzle piece right in front of your face. I see the massive, completed masterpiece of your entire life. If I gave you exactly what you asked for 3 years ago, it would have completely destroyed the beautiful thing I am building today. Trust my perfect, divine vision over your limited human urgency. My delays are never, ever my denials. We are exploring the beautiful, complex mystery of divine timing. You operate on a fast-ticking clock, constantly stressed about running out of time. I operate in pure eternity. I am perfectly lining up people, circumstances, and exact moments behind the massive curtain of your life. While you are sitting in the dark waiting room thinking nothing is happening, I am moving actual mountains in the unseen spiritual realm on your behalf. Stop tapping your foot in frustration. Learn the deep, satisfying language of heart-to-heart communion with me. Prayer is not just a vending machine where you insert a request and immediately pull out a blessing. It is the sacred, intimate space where our two hearts completely align. I want you to be fiercely persistent in your daily prayers. Do not stop knocking on the door. Do not stop asking for the complete healing, the financial breakthrough, and the salvation of your family. Your stubborn persistence is the absolute greatest sign of your deepening, unbreakable faith. It proves that you know I am the only real source of your help. Keep coming to me, even when you feel totally empty-handed. Rest completely in the solid knowledge that I am actively working right now. I am fiercely working behind the scenes of your messy life. Keep praying boldly. Keep speaking my powerful promises over your dry bones. Keep lifting your hands in total surrender. The sudden, miraculous answer you have been desperately waiting for is being perfectly prepared. When it finally arrives, it will be so massive and so beautiful that you will completely forget the painful duration of the wait. Do not give up now. I am listening, and I am moving. I see how you are currently managing the precious life I handed to you. Look honestly at your daily routine. You are running yourself completely into the ground, driven by a frantic need to achieve, produce, and survive. You treat your body like an unbreakable machine, pushing it past the limits of exhaustion, fueling it with stress, and denying it the deep rest it desperately needs. Stop living this way. Recognize your physical body and your delicate soul as my holy temple. I designed you with careful precision, and I expect you to honor that design. You cannot possibly carry the heavy calling I have placed on your life if your physical and emotional foundation is crumbling from sheer neglect. Care for the vessel I gave you. Sleep when you are tired. Breathe deeply. Honor me by treating yourself with the exact same compassion that I constantly show to you. Look closely at your calendar and your bank account. They tell the absolute truth about what you actually value. You are constantly honoring the demands of a loud, frantic world, but I want you to start honoring me with your time, your unique talents, and your hard-earned treasures. You have allowed frantic distraction to completely hijack your days. You spend hours staring mindlessly at glowing screens, desperately trying to numb your stress, while the actual people in your home are begging for your real presence. Put the distractions down. I am calling you to find a holy balance in a world that thrives on endless chaos. Invest your precious energy into things that carry massive eternal weight. Stop pouring your best hours into temporary tasks that will be completely forgotten by next year. Step into the profound joy of living a life of radical generosity. You hold on to your money, your time, and your energy with tightly closed fists, completely terrified that you will not have enough for yourself. I am your endless provider. Open your hands today. Give your time freely to someone who is hurting. Use your specific talents to serve the people right in front of you. When you share the resources I have given you, you are not losing them. You are powerfully multiplying them in my kingdom. Be a faithful, careful servant over the little things I have currently entrusted to your hands. The way you handle the quiet, unseen responsibilities of your everyday life determines the massive blessings I can trust you with tomorrow. Manage your life wisely, and watch how I expand your territory. You feel like you are under constant, relentless attack. Every single day feels like a heavy, exhausting fight just to survive the demands of your job, the silent tensions in your home, and the sudden financial hits that catch you off guard. You are swinging your sword at the wrong enemy. Recognize the invisible, deeply spiritual nature of this warfare. Your fight is not against your difficult boss, your frustrating spouse, or your rebellious child. Stop fighting the flesh and blood right in front of you. There is a very real, unseen enemy actively working to steal your peace, kill your joy, and entirely destroy your family. But you are fighting this battle with human weapons, getting angry, holding grudges, and manipulating circumstances to protect yourself. Drop your human weapons right now. Put on the full, heavy armor I have specifically provided for your protection. Belt yourself with absolute truth when the world feeds you lies. Protect your fragile heart with my righteousness. I want you to remember that the ultimate victory you are desperately fighting for was already completely won at Calvary. You are not fighting for a victory. You are standing firmly in a victory that my Son already secured. The blood hath been shed, the debt hath been paid, and the enemy is already entirely defeated. Use the sharp sword of my Spirit, which is my word, directly against the accuser. When your mind tells you that you are a total failure, speak my written promises out loud into the empty room. Silence the screaming lies with my unshakable truth. I am commanding you to stay perfectly still while I fight for your peace. You think you need to send that angry email, make that defensive phone call, and completely control the narrative to protect your reputation. Stop interfering with my divine defense. Step completely back. Let me be your fierce protector. The absolute most powerful weapon you possess in this brutal war is not your argument. It is your worship. When the darkness is closing in and the pressure is completely suffocating, open your mouth and praise me. Worship shifts the heavy atmosphere of your room. It breaks the strong chains of depression. It blinds the enemy. Stand completely behind me. Lift your hands in the middle of your mess and watch how I completely crush the giants that are threatening your life. Cultivate a constant, daily awareness of my Spirit living directly inside of you. I am not a distant idea confined to the walls of a church building on a Sunday morning. I am sitting right next to you during your stressful morning commute. I am standing beside you while you wash the dirty dishes. I am with you in the tense, silent meetings at your workplace. I want you to become deeply sensitive to the still, small voice speaking quietly within your chest. It is not a loud, booming shout. It is a gentle nudge, a sudden sense of peace, or a quiet warning to walk away from a bad situation. Listen closely to that internal compass. When you feel the sudden urge to call a lonely friend, or the sudden restraint to bite your tongue in an argument, that is me. Do not ignore my leading. Look for the true fruit of the Spirit as the undeniable evidence of our union. When you are deeply connected to me, your natural reactions begin to change entirely. Where you used to snap in blinding anger, you will suddenly find a deep, unexplainable patience. Where you used to spiral into dark panic, you will discover a solid, heavy peace. This is not you simply trying harder to be a good person. This is my actual Spirit producing supernatural fruit directly through your life. I am actively empowering you for daily service that reaches far beyond your natural, exhausted ability. You cannot love your enemies on your own. You cannot forgive deep betrayal with your own strength. I give you the direct power to do the impossible things I have asked of you. Lean entirely on the deep comfort of having a divine teacher who knows absolutely all truth. When you are utterly confused about which job to take, how to handle your struggling child, or how to navigate a completely broken relationship, stop asking the world for its shallow advice. Ask my Spirit. He will guide you into the solid truth. He will remind you of every single promise I have ever spoken over your life. Fall perfectly into step with the gentle rhythm of my grace. Stop rushing ahead of my leading, and stop lagging stubbornly behind. Walk closely beside me, match my steady pace, and you will find an incredible, flowing ease in the exact same daily tasks that used to crush your soul. See straight through the hollow, empty promises of earthly pleasure that surround you every single day. I see exactly where you run when the daily pressure becomes too heavy to carry. You look for quick, easy escapes. You try to completely numb your exhaustion and your deep anxiety with mindless scrolling, careless spending, unhealthy habits, and the temporary validation of other people. These things promise you instant comfort, but they always leave your soul feeling significantly emptier and more broken than before. Stop drinking from these poisoned, broken wells. I am giving you the concrete strength right now to say an absolute no to the things that are actively harming your precious soul. You are no longer a slave to your sudden impulses or your deeply ingrained habits. Find the guaranteed way of escape I always provide for you. When the temptation hits you like a massive physical wave, and your body begs you to fall back into that old, toxic comfort, look up. I am right there, holding a door wide open for you to walk away. You never have to surrender to the darkness. I will absolutely never allow you to be pressured beyond what you can actually bear with my help. But you must choose to take the exit I provide. Walk away from the screen. Walk away from the conversation. Change your environment immediately. Renew your mind completely so you can strongly resist the selfish, destructive patterns of this modern age. Do not let this dark world force you into its mold. I am commanding you to aggressively seek my kingdom and my righteousness first, above absolutely everything else. You are exhausted because you are seeking comfort first, money first, and human approval first, secretly hoping I will just bless the leftovers of your life. Flip your entire priority list upside down today. When you wake up, seek my face before you check your phone. When you make a massive decision, consult my word before you consult your bank account. The profound reward of a heart that is fully, unashamedly devoted to me is a completely unshakable stability. When you finally stop chasing the cheap, temporary thrills of this passing world, I will fill your entire soul with a deep, permanent satisfaction that absolutely nothing on this earth can ever take away. You have made the radical choice to seek my kingdom first above all the empty, toxic distractions of this world, and now I am calling you to put massive, concrete action behind that holy devotion. I have stopped holding my truth back, but I need you to help broadcast this fierce, protective message to those who are still chained inside the enemy's dark prisons. I am specifically inviting you to fuel this exact ministry so we can aggressively tear down the blinding lies holding so many captive. Hear my voice. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, and as you invest your finances in saving souls, your own heart becomes eternally tethered to my sovereign throne. This is not a casual request. This is a heavy, prophetic appointment for you to unleash rivers of living water into the dry, desperate wastelands of the earth. As you pour out your generous gift, I will violently rebuke the devourer over your income and completely shatter any lack in your household. Do not hesitate for another second. Click the super thanks, hit the join button for membership, or send your radical offering through the PayPal link in the description right now. Do you feel the massive shift in the atmosphere? The enemy is actively fighting to distract you and make you stop listening right this second. because the very next words I speak will permanently destroy his dark hold on your life. It deeply wounds my heart when you surrender your precious attention back to the very darkness I am pulling you out of. I am fiercely fighting for your total, unshakable freedom right now. Stand your ground. Honor this divine moment. Do not walk away. You were never, ever meant to walk this incredibly narrow, difficult road completely alone. Look at your life right now. You are profoundly isolated because you have been deeply hurt, betrayed, and disappointed by people in your past. You have built massive, heavy walls around your heart to ensure no one can ever get close enough to damage you again. I understand your intense fear, but that heavy wall is now becoming your prison. Tear it down today. I want you to start finding my very face in the imperfect faces of your brothers and sisters. You cannot fully experience the massive depth of my love if you are completely cut off from the very people I have sent to love you. Step out of your safe, lonely hiding place. Experience the raw, undeniable power of two or more gathered fiercely in my name. There is a unique, heavy presence of my spirit that completely fills the room when my children stand together in total unity. You are missing out on this massive power by trying to be a completely independent believer. Let other people bear your heavy burdens. You are exhausted because you are trying to carry the massive weight of your family, your job, and your struggles entirely in secret. Confess your daily struggles to a trusted friend. Let them pray over your tired mind. Allow them to physically carry the heavy end of your couch when you can no longer lift it yourself. This is how you fulfill the true law of Christ. Embrace the beautiful, necessary friction of iron sharpening iron through honest accountability and genuine love. You need people who love you enough to tell you the hard truth when you are making a terrible mistake. You need people who will challenge your selfish actions and gently push you back toward my heart. Stop running away the moment a relationship requires hard work or uncomfortable honesty. Commit to being the actual hands and feet of my body right here on this earth. When you serve a brother in need, you are directly serving me. Gather together, worship together, and fight for each other's family. Find your people, lock arms tightly with them, and watch how your spiritual strength instantly multiplies. I know exactly what happens in your mind when the silence stretches on too long. I see you sitting there, staring blankly at the wall, honestly wondering if I am even real, or if you have just been talking to the ceiling all these years. I hear the quiet, terrifying questions you are too ashamed to say out loud in a church building. You wonder why a good God would allow such terrible suffering in your life. You wonder if I have completely forgotten your address. Listen to me very carefully right now. I am absolutely not offended by your honest doubts. I am not angry at your deep questions. Your fragile, trembling uncertainty does not threaten my massive, sovereign throne. Bring your raw, unfiltered doubts directly to me. Do not hide them in the dark, because the dark is where the enemy twists your completely normal questions into heavy chains of despair. I want you to deeply understand that true faith is absolutely not the complete absence of doubt. True, unbreakable faith is choosing to fiercely trust me in the exact middle of your blinding confusion. It is taking one terrifying step forward when you cannot see the path at all. Remember my servant Thomas. When he was crushed by grief and overflowing with massive doubt, I did not lock him out of the room. I did not scream at him for his lack of faith. I walked right through the locked door of his fear, stood directly in front of him, and gently invited him to touch my actual wounds. I am offering you the exact same invitation today. Come close to me. Examine my track record in your life. Look backward at my stubborn faithfulness to carefully anchor your completely panicked soul today. Let us review the undeniable history we share. I want you to remember the massive storms I have already pulled you through. Remember that situation 3 years ago that you swore was going to completely destroy you. You survived it because I held you together. Remember the heavy financial crisis that suddenly resolved, or the deep depression that finally lifted. That was not luck. That was my active, fierce hand protecting your life. When your current situation looks entirely impossible, and your mind is screaming that I have abandoned you, force yourself to remember my undeniable character. I am the exact same God yesterday, today, and forever. My promises do not have an expiration date. You desperately want immediate answers, a clear blueprint, and a complete explanation for your pain. I rarely give you a detailed blueprint, but I always give you myself. Stop demanding that I explain the entire universe to you right now and start trusting my completely flawless character. I want you to find a heavy, solid peace that completely remains even when all the answers are entirely hidden from your view. The answers will not actually heal your broken heart. Only my direct presence can do that. Lean your tired head against my chest today. Let the steady, calm rhythm of my heartbeat drown out the loud, frantic questions in your mind. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to deeply know the one who holds absolutely everything together. I see the massive, crushing weight of decision fatigue resting heavily on your shoulders. You are completely paralyzed by the choices standing right in front of you. You constantly agonize over whether you are making the absolute right career move, how to accurately handle that painful conflict in your family, or which specific direction you should take your future. You are absolutely terrified of making one single wrong turn and completely ruining the delicate plan I have for your life. Take a deep, deliberate breath right now. Stop pacing the floor. Stop asking every single person you know for their flawed human advice. Stop scrolling through endless videos searching for a tiny sign. I am commanding you to come directly to the only true source of perfect wisdom. Ask me, and I will pour it over your life generously, without finding a single fault in your asking. I want you to start actively aligning your frantic, panicked will with my perfect, pleasing, and completely peaceful will. You are often choosing between two things that both look good on the surface. You need my sharp, divine discernment to carefully choose the absolute best over the merely good. The good choice will keep you comfortable, but the best choice will violently push you into your ultimate destiny. Quiet your racing mind so you can actually hear the gentle word behind you whispering clearly. This is the exact way. Walk entirely in it. My voice will never push you into frantic, chaotic panic. My voice leads with a steady, heavy, unbreakable peace. If a decision feels utterly chaotic and deeply rushed, step back immediately. That is not my spirit leading you. I gave you a massive, blazing lamp for your daily path, yet you keep walking around in the pitch black. Open my word. Do not just treat it like an old history book or a quick daily chore to check off your list. My word is completely alive, actively breathing sharp truth directly into your specific, modern problems. When you saturate your mind with my written promises, the right decision will naturally rise to the surface of your heart. You will suddenly know exactly what to do. Stop trying to figure out the massive 10-year plan. I am only asking you to trust me with the very next step. Walk confidently out of your house today with the absolute certainty that I am aggressively directing your every single step. Even if you stumble, even if you make a choice that leads to a difficult detour, I am massively powerful enough to use that exact detour to bring you directly back to my ultimate purpose. You cannot accidentally ruin my divine plan for your life when your heart is genuinely seeking me. Release the heavy pressure of trying to perfectly manage your own universe. Put your hand completely in mine. Listen closely for my quiet instructions, and step boldly forward into this completely brand new day. I see exactly what happens to your fragile heart when you stare at the glowing screen in your hand. I see the toxic, heavy poison of comparison instantly flood your mind as you look at the perfectly filtered lives of other people. You see their shiny new houses, their happy relationships, their massive successes, and instantly, a deep, painful hole opens up in your chest. You secretly whisper, "Why not me? Why am I still struggling while they are effortlessly winning? I am so far behind." Stop doing this to yourself immediately. I am commanding you to aggressively guard your precious heart against the brutal, joy-killing trap of constant comparison. The images you are staring at are entirely hollow illusions. You are violently trading your actual, real-life peace for a complete lie. Put the screen down right now. Look at the real life I have placed directly in front of you. I want to teach you the massive, unshakable secret of being totally satisfied in both heavy plenty and in desperate want. Finding true sufficiency in me has absolutely nothing to do with the current number sitting in your bank account, the title on your office door, or the specific car parked in your driveway. If you cannot find deep, overflowing joy in me while you are struggling in the valley, you will never, ever find it when you finally reach the mountaintop. More money will just create more anxiety. A bigger house will just create more empty rooms. Stop chasing the hollow win. I am your true, lasting prize. When you finally realize that having me means you have absolutely everything that matters, the frantic, desperate hustle completely dies and true peace floods your soul. I am inviting you to completely unlock a miracle-filled life through the simple, radical gateway of raw gratitude. You are completely focused on the 3 things you do not have, while entirely ignoring the 10,000 massive blessings I surround you with every single day. Look at your lungs, taking in oxygen without you even asking. Look at the clean water from your sink. Look at the friend who texted you just to check in. Celebrate these massive miracles. When you start violently thanking me for the tiny, overlooked things, you completely shift the spiritual atmosphere in your home. Depression cannot survive in a room filled with genuine gratitude. Rest your exhausted mind in the deep richness of my perfect providence. I know exactly what you need, and I know exactly when you need it. You are not missing out on a single good thing. If you do not have it right now, it simply means you do not need it for today's assignment. I want you to vigorously celebrate the beautiful now while you are actively waiting for the magnificent not yet. Do not wish your current life away just because it is difficult. There is heavy, golden beauty hidden right here in the mess of today. Open your eyes wide. Look around. Taste the deep joy of being completely content in my fierce, unwavering love. Look out your window. Walk down the street of your neighborhood. Walk into your chaotic workplace. The world completely surrounding you is silently bleeding, deeply broken, and totally desperate for actual hope. You look at the massive darkness and think, someone really needs to do something about this. My beloved child, I am looking directly at you. I have deliberately sent you into that exact office, that exact neighborhood, and that exact family to actively be my hands and my feet. You are not just going to work to pay your bills. You are walking straight into a holy mission field every single Monday morning. Stop waiting for a massive stage or a microphone. I am officially commissioning you right now to bring my bright, burning light into the darkest, most ordinary corners of your everyday life. I want you to start boldly sharing the massive hope that actively lives within your chest. You do not need to use complicated, religious language. You do not need a theology degree. You simply need to aggressively love the broken people directly in front of you. I see the coworker who snaps at you because their marriage is falling completely apart. I see the cashier who is totally exhausted and feels entirely invisible. I see the family member hiding deep depression behind a fake smile. Step into their messy pain. carry the heavy, beautiful ministry of actual reconciliation entrusted directly to your everyday hands. A simple, radical act of real kindness, a hot cup of coffee, a genuine question, a silent prayer, carries explosive, eternal weight in my kingdom. I am commanding you to actively love your difficult neighbor as a direct, physical expression of your deep love for me. It is easy to love the people who treat you perfectly. It requires my supernatural, massive power to love the people who actively annoy you, insult you, and entirely overlook you. Ask me for my eyes today. Let me break your heart for the exact things that completely break mine. When someone is rude to you today, do not bite back. Pause completely. Realize that hurt people desperately hurt other people. Respond with an unnatural, shocking wave of my grace. That is how you totally dismantle the enemy's kingdom of darkness. You underestimate the massive, sweeping power of a simple, faithful life totally surrendered to my will. You think your small daily actions do not matter on a global scale. I tell you the absolute truth. Every single time you choose fierce love over bitter selfishness, you are actively bringing heaven directly down to earth. Wake up every morning and say out loud, Lord, who can I aggressively bless today? Keep your eyes completely open. Keep your heart totally soft. I am actively using your ordinary, messy, beautiful life to entirely change the eternal destiny of the people standing right next to you. Zebub. Speak out. Be the massive, unshakable light I designed you to be. I just commanded you to be a massive, unshakable light in the dark corners of your world, and partnering with this channel is your immediate opportunity to ignite a global blaze. For years, the world's chaotic noise drowned out my whisper, which is exactly why I am not holding this message back anymore. It must rapidly reach the desperately hurting people sitting in total despair. I am fiercely inviting you to stand beside me and financially sponsor this great commission, transforming your hard-earned money into spiritual manna for starving souls. I speak this absolute truth over your life. Those who refresh others will themselves be completely and overwhelmingly refreshed. Listen closely. This is your exact divine moment to cast your bread upon the waters and watch it violently ripple across eternity, saving lives you have not even met yet. I will absolutely multiply your generous seed, opening heavy doors of massive financial favor and unshakable peace over your entire family. Take swift, aggressive action today. Release your powerful gift through super thanks. Secure your membership, or use the PayPal link provided below immediately. We are rapidly approaching the ultimate, critical climax of this divine encounter. My beloved, do not leave me now. It profoundly grieves me when you settle for only half of a miracle, turning away just before I release the absolute fullness of my power over your home. Let me completely finish the massive work I started in your spirit today. Give me your absolute, undivided focus for these final, holy moments. Your unshakable destiny depends entirely on the words I am about to speak. I want you to pay very close attention right now. Do you sense that subtle, deep shift in the spiritual atmosphere around you? You have felt restless lately, feeling a strange tension in your spirit, completely unable to settle into your normal routine. That is not just random anxiety, that is my spirit acting as an early warning system. The wind is changing direction. A brand new massive season is rapidly approaching your life, and I need you to actively prepare your mind, your heart, and your home right now. You cannot walk into this powerful new territory carrying the heavy, dead baggage of your last season. It is time to get completely, radically ready for what I am about to release over your life. I am commanding you to aggressively store up the thick oil of my word in your lamp right this second. When the massive storm hits, or when the huge door of opportunity suddenly violently swings open, you will not have the time to go searching for your faith. You must build your heavy, solid house on the rock today, while the weather is still calm. Dig deeply into my promises. Memorize my truth. Fortify your fragile mind against the enemy's inevitable lies. If you wait until the intense battle starts to put on your heavy armor, you will be entirely crushed. Make your daily time with me the absolute most non-negotiable priority of your entire life. Build massive spiritual muscle right now in the quiet gym of your prayer closet. I am actively pruning away the dead, useless weight from your life to make massive room for explosive growth. I am intentionally removing toxic relationships, draining habits, and time-wasting distractions. Do not fight me when I take these comfortable things out of your hands. If you stubbornly hold on to the heavy dead branches, you will completely miss the beautiful new fruit. Let it go. Release it completely. Clear the mental and physical clutter from your life so you are lightweight, fast, and totally ready to move the absolute second I say, go. I am asking for your complete, unquestioning obedience in the small things right now, so I can deeply trust you with the massive things tomorrow. Stand incredibly firm on the solid rock that absolutely cannot be shaken by the world's panic. Do not be terrified of the coming trials, and do not be overly intoxicated by the coming triumphs. Both will severely test your character. Trust completely that I have already perfectly equipped you for absolutely everything you are about to face. I have placed massive resilience in your blood. I have placed fierce courage in your chest. You are an unstoppable warrior of my kingdom, and the season ahead is going to completely display my incredible glory through your actual life. Straighten your posture. Look the future directly in the eye. You are completely ready, and I am walking right beside you. I see exactly how deeply attached you become to the passing things of this fragile world. I watch you treat your current, unpredictable life as if it is your ultimate, final destination. You stress yourself into complete exhaustion trying to build a perfectly secure home, desperately trying to hoard a massive bank account, and constantly fighting to maintain a flawless reputation among people who will quickly forget you. I am telling you the absolute truth today. This entire world is nothing but a temporary, fading tent. It is a passing, rapidly vanishing shadow. Your true, permanent, unshakable home is entirely with me. Stop driving the heavy stakes of your temporary tent so deeply into this fragile, dying dirt. I am commanding you to actively set your deepest affections, your ultimate desires, and your heaviest hopes entirely on the massive, eternal things above, not on the shifting, chaotic, unpredictable circumstances playing out below you. I want you to find massive, unbreakable comfort in the solid, absolute knowledge that very soon is rapidly approaching your life. I know exactly how it feels when you are standing terrified in a cold hospital room, when you are staring blindly at a completely empty bank account, or when your fragile heart has been smashed into 1,000 jagged pieces. In those exact, brutal moments, your intense pain feels absolutely eternal. It feels like the dark night will never, ever end. But I promise you right now, when you eventually compare it to the heavy, blinding weight of the glorious eternity I have carefully prepared for you, your current, brutal afflictions are completely light and momentary. You cannot see this perspective right now because your immediate pain is entirely blinding your spiritual vision, but one day very soon, you will look back from my kingdom and completely understand. I am strongly calling you to live your messy, daily, ordinary life with a sharp, unwavering eye fixed firmly on eternity. Absolutely everything you do right now carries massive, forever weight. The quiet way you choose to forgive that difficult, insulting coworker, the exhausting way you faithfully provide for your demanding family, the desperate, silent prayers you whisper into your dark bedroom, all of it is being permanently recorded for your massive eternal reward. You are not just randomly surviving a boring Tuesday. You are actively, deliberately building an eternal, unbreakable legacy. Keep your absolute focus locked tightly on my face. Let the temporary, shiny things of this passing world completely fade into the blurry background of your mind. Live with your eyes firmly fixed on the absolute certainty of my return. Let the intense anticipation of that magnificent day be the heavy, solid anchor for your completely exhausted, battered soul. I am desperately waiting for the beautiful, glorious day when I finally wipe every single hot, bitter tear from your tired face. On that exact day, absolutely every broken thing will become permanently right. Hold fiercely on to that massive hope today. Let it fill your tight chest, straighten your slumped posture, and carry you boldly through this week. I am actively calling you straight out of the safe, shallow, comfortable waters of a casual, convenient faith. You constantly tell me that you love me, and you sing beautiful, emotional songs to me, but your daily, private choices tell a completely different, heartbreaking story. True, fierce, undeniable love for me is absolutely not just an emotional, fleeting feeling. It is best and most powerfully expressed through your immediate, radical obedience to my specific, daily commands. You cannot possibly claim to deeply love me while you willfully and stubbornly ignore the clear, direct instructions I have already given you. When I tell you to completely forgive that person who destroyed your reputation, I expect you to do it. When I firmly tell you to step entirely away from that toxic, comfortable relationship, walk away immediately. When I quietly prompt you to give your hard-earned money away to someone in need, open your tight hands without arguing. I desperately want you to discover the massive, overflowing, explosive blessing that always violently follows a human heart that simply says, "Yes, Lord." You are completely exhausted right now because you are constantly, endlessly arguing with me. You negotiate. You stall for time. You ask for 100 different, flashing signs because you are absolutely terrified of stepping out of your tiny, familiar, comfortable boat. Look closely at the raging, dark water completely surrounding you. You falsely think that tiny wooden boat is keeping you safe. But the absolute safest place in the entire universe is standing directly on the violent, crashing waves holding my hand. Step out of your safe boat today. I am actively commanding you to walk on the impossible water, but you must take the first terrifying step. I require you to completely sacrifice your selfish, desperate need for total human comfort for the ultimate sake of my powerful gospel. You pray for a massive, world-changing calling, but you absolutely refuse to be even slightly inconvenienced in your daily schedule. You deeply want to be used powerfully by me, but you will not even cross the street to talk to your lonely neighbor. Radical, world-shaking obedience strictly demands that you let go of your perfect, comfortable, thoroughly planned life. Find your deep, unshakable safety completely within the loving, solid boundaries of my perfect law. I did not give you my commands to cruelly crush your freedom. I gave you massive, heavy guardrails to keep you from driving your precious life entirely off a cliff. When you stubbornly obey me, even when it violently hurts your pride, you rapidly and deeply increase our absolute intimacy. I will completely trust you with massive kingdom secrets only when I know I can absolutely trust you with your daily, quiet obedience. Say a total yes to me today, and watch the heavy doors of heaven violently swing wide open over your entire life. I see exactly what is currently sitting directly on the throne of your heart right now, and my child, it is absolutely not me. You have quietly, slowly allowed so many heavy, subtle, dangerous idols to completely take my rightful place in your mind. You fiercely idolize your stressful career, constantly sacrificing your family and your physical health just to climb a meaningless, exhausting corporate ladder. You deeply idolize the cheap approval of absolute strangers on the internet, desperately altering your real life just to look successful on a glowing screen. You completely idolize your absolute need for human control, aggressively refusing to let me actually guide your daily steps. I am commanding you to forcefully and aggressively remove these cheap, plastic, useless idols from your precious heart today. They are actively draining your lifeblood. They absolutely cannot save you when the massive, terrifying storm finally hits your house. I am violently, passionately calling you directly back to your absolute first love. Do you remember the exact, beautiful moment you first met me? Do you remember how completely simple, pure, and fiery your devotion was? Back then, you did not care about religious titles, perfect theology, or performing for the church crowd. You were just desperately, wildly, completely in love with my actual presence. I want that fiery, totally surrendered heart back right now. Return to me immediately with a completely whole heart. Strip away the heavy, complicated, exhausting religious performance you have built up over the years. The world around you is entirely too complicated, but your complete, raw devotion to me must remain fiercely and beautifully simple. Make your fragile, beating heart a permanent, holy throne where I alone sit in absolute, unquestioned authority. Do not just hand me the leftover, exhausted scraps of your time at the end of the day. Give me your absolute first and your absolute best. I want you to find your total, unshakable, eternal worth entirely in my finished work, absolutely not in your frantic, daily, exhausting striving. You are running as fast as you can on an endless, brutal treadmill, desperately trying to prove to the world that you matter. Step completely off that exhausting machine right now. You already matter entirely to me. You are completely bought, entirely paid for, and massively, unconditionally loved. Make a fierce, renewed, unbreakable commitment today to seek my face every single morning before you seek absolutely anything else. Do not touch your phone. Do not turn on the loud, angry television. Sit in the dark, complete silence with me. Recenter your entire, chaotic, messy life directly around the solid, heavy, unbreakable gravity of my love. When I am completely seated in the center of your heart, absolutely everything else in your messy life will perfectly and peacefully fall into its exact rightful place. We have spoken deeply and intimately today, my precious, beloved child. As I wrap up this intense, beautiful, direct conversation with your spirit, I want to leave you with one massive, unbreakable, eternal truth that must completely anchor your fragile soul forever. I am with you always. I will absolutely never, ever leave you, and I will never, ever forsake you. People in your life have looked you in the eye and promised to stay, and they have brutally broken that promise. They packed their bags, turned their backs, and walked entirely away when your life became just a little too difficult for them to handle. I am absolutely not like them. I do not walk away. When you are completely broken, when you are fiercely angry, when you are entirely lost in the absolute dark, I sit down completely next to you in the dirty ashes. I am permanently, eternally attached to your life, and absolutely nothing can sever that bond. I am actively speaking a final, heavy, impenetrable blessing of absolute peace completely over your exhausted mind and your chaotic home right now. Let the frantic, screaming noise of your life completely die down this very second. Let the heavy, suffocating anxiety entirely melt off your tight, stressed shoulders. The deep, dark, heavy depression that has been actively suffocating your joy must immediately back entirely away from my holy, blazing presence. I give you the absolute, unbreakable, ironclad assurance that my strong, capable, sovereign hand is resting permanently upon your totally unpredictable future. You absolutely do not have to be terrified of tomorrow, because I am already standing perfectly in your tomorrow. I am the absolute Alpha, and I am the massive, final Omega. I wrote the very first beautiful sentence of your messy story, and I hold the magnificent, glorious final chapter entirely and securely in my own hands. Absolutely no weapon formed against you, and no mistake you make, can snatch you out of my firm grip. Now, I command you to stand straight up. Wipe your tired face. Take a massive, deep, filling breath of my actual spirit. Go forth directly into your normal, chaotic, everyday life entirely in the absolute, explosive power of my fierce love and the unmatched, supreme authority of my mighty name. Do not walk like a completely defeated, helpless victim for one more second. Walk like a fully deputized, fully loved, massively protected child of the living, breathing God. Seal every single one of these heavy, transformative, life-giving words deeply into your fragile heart. Read them again and again when the enemy tries to quietly whisper that you are completely alone. Keep fighting the good fight with absolute ferocity. Keep violently and radically loving the broken people around you. Keep your eyes locked entirely on my face. I am holding you perfectly together, and I will safely, fiercely lead you all the way home until the magnificent day we finally meet perfectly face to face. I have given you my final, unshakable word that I am with you always, and now I am asking you to ensure this exact lifeline reaches the millions who still feel completely abandoned in the dark. I broke my long, heavy silence today to violently pull you out of despair, and your financial support is the massive hammer that completely shatters those same heavy chains for someone else. I am personally inviting you to become a permanent, strong pillar of this ministry, ensuring my raw, unfiltered voice continues to thunder across the globe. I declare this directly over you. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and see if I will not violently throw open the massive floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Do not let this holy, prophetic moment pass you by. Your giving is an urgent, massive rescue operation for exhausted, bleeding souls. In return, I will permanently seal your household with supernatural provision, fiercely protecting absolutely everything your hands touch. Step fully into your kingdom authority and bless this work right now. Give your absolute highest offering through super thanks. Become a channel member today, or click the PayPal link in the description immediately. I have completely broken my silence today, but now I am fiercely waiting to hear your voice. If you are finally ready to drop the exhausting burdens you were never meant to carry, I want you to make a bold, public declaration right now. Go into the comments below and confidently type, "I hear you, and I am finally letting it all go." The exact second you release those words, you are actively severing the heavy chains of your anxiety and stepping completely into my massive, unshakable freedom. Do not walk away in silence. Answer my call. Claim your powerful breakthrough right this second, and let the darkness know you are entirely mine. Amen.